iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human. Live from the Ingalls studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dogs eat! Let them on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh, my God. The Jets killed him.
All right, your mic is on.
Welcome in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Radio, Asheville. The show's a lot better looking today than it usually is. Tank is he's having a procedure done, so all the T's and P's to the cantankerous, and we've replaced him on screen today with the one, the only, Richmond Weaver. Rich, we should have done this long ago.
No question about it. I don't know why we waited so long, but I don't feel that you're doing anything positive for Tank, though, by saying the show improved with me sitting here.
Oh, he said
that's not it.
Oh, he said it quick. He was like, I mean, you have to narrow his frame down because you're used to a much bigger head. I had to narrow mine down to make mine not look gigantic next to yours. Rich works with me in Greenville, 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate. I do overtime on Mondays. He does the Richmond Weaver Show every day, 3 to 5. And with no Tank, we thought this would be a great introduction to our audience because Rich does all the sports that we ignore.
Well, sometimes. I do love NFL. I talk
for sure.
NFL, but I am a basketball guy, true and true. That was my first passion. That was my first love. That was my first escape, so to speak. And so wanting to be involved with basketball, I knew that was my passion. I was a former basketball coach, Division I, for a few years. And so, yes, I'm going to lean into college basketball. I'm going to lean into the NBA, but I talk all sports. And, of course, NFL gets a lot of discussions in this area, but even more importantly, college football. And now, with all of the content opportunities that we have, all of these different platforms, and that's why I love that we can cross over here, is that the thing that I talk about consistently on my show is that can you have an opportunity in life, view things from a different perspective? And when you can get to that point where you have the ability to do that, then it only makes you a better, well-rounded person. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and talk some other things that maybe you haven't been able to view from a perspective as far as sports talk radio, but vice versa. Same with me. Because, I mean, obviously, you live and breathe NFL.
Yes.
NFL draft.
All of that. But my career arc was, I'm not going to say I chose it so much as it chose me.
Yeah.
We started doing YouTube things. It was very obvious that people liked when we did the draft. I loved the draft. So I just kind of clung on to it.
Well, of course, it's the needle mover. We do know that. But that doesn't mean certain parts of the season in terms of the year. When I'm saying season, I'm talking about sports talk radio year, because we also have those seasons within a year in sports talk radio. And so I'm a big believer that when something is important, something's big, NCAA tournament, NBA playoffs, PGA championship coming up, those type of things, hey, spend a few minutes just to whet the appetite, so to speak.
For sure. And Rich is, I would say, probably the most well-rounded sports journalist I've ever met. He actually is a journalist. He has Emmys on his desk. I don't. I have misspelled death threats. He has Emmys.
Well, I'm very fortunate to be part of a couple of projects. One, Clemson's Greatest Games, where we did a 12-episode docuseries type of thing, 30-minute episodes, talking about some of the biggest football games in Clemson history under Dabo Swinney. Now, outside of national championships, this was regular season games, so we did that during COVID because there was no live sports. And there were people wanting to talk sports. They wanted some type of sports content. And so that showed us just the gravitational pull to appointment TV and live sports. And then also in 2022-23, that season in college basketball, I embedded a film crew with the Furman men's basketball team. And this was after the heartbreak in Asheville there where they lose to Chattanooga on a 30-foot three-point shot there in overtime from the Ingalls Markets logo right there. Yes.
It was right in front of me.
Yes.
I was sitting right behind Randolph Childress, And I don't know if they caught what he said on television, but if they did, there was a fine for somebody because he said practically the same thing I did.
Yeah, they didn't catch that, but I did have Randolph Childers part of the project to talk about the call and how the game was, from that perspective. But it was a magical season after the heartbreak that then Furman goes on to win the SoCon Tournament Championship for the first time in 43 years. And then, icing on the cake, they beat Virginia in the NCAA tournament down in Orlando as J.P. Pegues hits a three-point shot as basically time expired. There were still 2 seconds left, and Virginia had one last heave, but it was off. But this was just an opportunity of telling the story of how you face adversity and coming back. And fortunate enough that it's on Prime Video now. It's a 5-episode docuseries, so go check it out. Better Together.
It's fantastic.
Championship Quest. Yeah, shameless self-plug here. I'll go ahead and tell you that.
Hey, we are the kings of shameless self-promotion here.
Then I'm fitting right in. But it was a great opportunity to, again, get involved in the storytelling. That's what I love. I love the storytelling side of not only life, but in sports, and the things that we can learn from sports and equate it to life, and vice versa. I mean, there's so many similarities between life and sport and life. We do know that. And yes, so fortunate to earn an Emmy nomination for the best sports documentary, and then also actually earned an Emmy for Outstanding Director for the project. So I was very fortunate to be involved in 2 of those projects. But I can tell you, using the word journalist with me is also use that very loosely.
Oh, that is underselling you. You also you confirm something else with all of the people that host the show with me. I'm the only one that doesn't have an IMDb.
Oh,
I found that out this morning because I was doing the background. I was trying to find pictures and stuff to put on the imaging, and I saw yours. Tank has one.
Okay.
And Tank just got wildly popular over the weekend because Pat McAfee had Ben Stiller saying, we should do a heavyweights too.
Well, there you go.
Which Tank went, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
I was in the first one. I'll be in the second one.
Exactly. Well, what are you waiting for?
Well, I mean, look, there's not a lot of call for me. Acting credit-wise, unless it's a documentary about Luke Combs and I'm his stunt double.
Yes.
Or it's a horror movie set in the hills of West Virginia. There's not a lot of call for me.
Well, I don't know. I'm telling you, with all of the different content out there, you should at least explore it.
I'm a very specific brand, as they say.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You got to lean into that, man.
It's funny you say that way. I'm very blessed to have been able to do this with really talented people, and with now being in Greenville, I've been very fortunate to work with Rich every Monday and Tuesday,
yes.
And we're glad to have him here.
Oh, I love it. Again, I think we've waited way too long to try to do a little bit of crossover. I mean, Asheville and Greenville. It's basic. I know we want to say GSP, Greenville, Spartanburg, the upstate, all of that. But a lot of times I feel Asheville is almost part of Greenville in terms of the upstate. And can we say the same thing, that Asheville, do they feel that Greenville is part of their community? Now, I do know they're different. I get that. I totally understand that.
It is wild how different the people are.
I get
an hour away.
But it's only an hour away. That's my point.
But there is a lot of similarity. I lived here for 4 years. About a decade ago. And I've always loved Greenville. Asheville's where I grew up. It's funny to me that you come down here and people from Greenville, they go hang out in Asheville.
Yeah.
People from Asheville come to Greenville and hang out on weekends. It's always been one of those interesting things. Rich and I have been very committed to, we do things that work in both places.
Exactly.
So that was actually one of our thoughts with today with No Tank was we can introduce Rich to our audience. We know there are people out there going, we love football. Just like you said it. We love football, but we love everything else too. I am so out of touch. The NFL draft is so all-encompassing.
Oh, it is.
I'm already working on 27.
Well, that's my point. And you do a great job of diving into what you're passionate about and what moves the needle for your audience. And also, at the end of the day, I mean, it's your show, and you want to do stuff that you enjoy talking about also. And there's something to be said about that. But I know with the NFL draft, I'm amazed when I saw all of the work that you had put into it. Again, from an outside perspective, I knew you were immersed in it, but I didn't really know. until you and I sat down and you started showing me some things. And then I got a different perspective and said, okay, this is quite an extensive labor of love.
Well, I mean, and for me, we got a whale of a team that does it. Bill Workman, we call him NFL Yoda. He's got formulas for everything. I'm not going to lie. I don't even understand some of them. I'm really glad he's on my team.
Exactly.
Mike Carlisle and Evo.
People.
We've got a whole team of guys that do the draft. So it's not that I gristle. It's the work that has gotten to be what we do with the draft. I'm just part of it. I'm the one that, for whatever reason, they let me in the door. I still don't know why.
Okay,
Every year when they give me the credential,
now
I'm
you're
like,
selling your shelf short.
I see my face on that credential every year, and I'm like, are you sure you know who you invited here? But it is so fun for me to get to see you on the other side with you do the pregame show for Clemson football.
Yeah, for Clemson football.
And you're so immersed in that. You're so good at it. But then to have the bandwidth to do basketball and golf, I physically had to tap out. Now, we're lucky we have a lot of people that watch us on YouTube. The people on YouTube made it very clear. We want to talk about football.
Yeah.
We want to talk about the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And we want to talk about it about 11 and a half months out of the year. So that's what steers us. It's impressive to me, as Rich and I meet every Monday morning, and he just downloads the weekend on me. We were talking this morning about the NBA draft lottery, about the playoffs, which we're definitely going to talk about that, because there are a couple things that I need you to explain to me like I'm 6, because they don't make sense.
Because I go ahead and tell you, the NBA playoffs this season have definitely tested my ability to evaluate some of these teams outside of the OKCs and the Spurs.
Oklahoma City is just a juggernaut.
Yes, no question about it. And they're hands down, they're the heavy favorites, and I think they're going to walk through.
If they don't win, if they don't hoist the second banner in a row, I genuinely feel like somebody needs. You're going to have to sit down and explain that.
It's going to be a failure if OKC does not win.
And they still have a pick in the lottery this year, too.
Yes, they do.
Of the greatest draft that I've ever seen in the NBA. A fun story, I actually started as an NBA draft guy, not as an NFL draft guy.
Okay.
Because I was a basketball player, too.
Yes.
I coached. You made it significantly further than I did. But I loved basketball growing up. The problem is that now I see the sport, and it's not even a facsimile of what I played. I couldn't play this. I could, just not well. You give me a green light to shoot 15 threes a game, I wouldn't have had a teammate that liked me. I didn't have many that liked me in the first place. You give me that kind of green light, and it's altogether different. And now I think it's so funny that you watch every layer of basketball. You go from high school to college to the G League all the way up to the NBA. It looks like 4 completely different sports to me.
Yeah.
It does. It looks like 4 completely different sports. I watched the lottery yesterday, and they were talking about a couple of these guards, because basically the way the NBA draft will go this year, you've got the top 2, DeBonsa.
Oh yeah, AJ DeBonsa.
I still don't know that I'm actually saying his name correctly. You've got him, Darren Peterson. That's pretty universally 1 and 2.
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain AJ is going number 1.
I would agree with you. I think Darren Peterson goes 2 to Utah. It's an interesting fit, but then it gets into Cameron Boozer, Carlos' son, and Caleb Wilson that we had at North Carolina. I'm on record of saying Caleb Wilson is the best of these 4. I saw all 4 of them in person this year. He's the best one I saw, and it's not really all that close.
Yeah, because the upside is there. I would say AJ and Caleb Wilson, in my opinion, are the 2 with the highest ceiling. And the question for Caleb Wilson, I think he does fit really well with the Bulls. And, of course, it seems like it makes a lot of sense.
I just want to keep him out of Memphis.
Yes, exactly.
I'm really tired of watching guys go to Memphis to just disappear.
The only reason I say the Bulls, I was a huge Michael Jordan fan growing up. One of my first truly distinct memories of understanding college basketball was watching the national championship game in 1982, North Carolina in Georgetown, and me saying, who is this Jordan guy? Because
that happened with a lot of people.
Yes, and so that was really that moment in time that, all right, I love this game, and this guy, who they're calling Mike Jordan, who of course, would become Michael Jordan. That's the guy I'm following. And so North Carolina somewhat became my pseudo team. And then ultimately it was the Chicago Bulls because they drafted him. And so there's a little bit of me saying, oh, that would be nice if the Bulls had an opportunity. They could take Caleb Wilson, and could they have a North Carolina guy? Caleb Wilson's not going to live up to the same situation as Michael Jordan. And I'm not trying to make any comparisons from that standpoint other than the fact that just a North Carolina guy being drafted by the Chicago Bulls. The concern would be right now just the Bulls are such a dysfunctional organization. And I know you're talking about Memphis. Well, Chicago's not much better. I mean,
no.
We saw what happened just in terms of how the season played out. Billy Donovan out, general manager out, president, all of the changes that are going on there in Chicago. So maybe they right the ship. But I think Caleb Wilson's going to go 3.
See, my only thing with Chicago is that and this is something I run into with the NBA, and we can get into this after the commercial break. The thing with the NBA is that you've got these teams in markets that you can't win. I mean, maybe I'm biased because we're in a Charlotte Hornet market, and I'm looking at what it took to make this team play-in competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, they were one of the best teams in the NBA for the last, half the season?
Definitely since February. They were hot.
They were insanely good. And that got them to the play-in where they got obliterated by the Orlando Magic. They can't get a free agent there to save their lives. They can't get a free agent to Memphis. If you look at who they have signed anytime they've had money, it's a lot of Bismack Biyombo and Cody Zeller and guys like that because you can't get big names in Charlotte. Chicago, you're going to be a player anytime you've got cash.
You are. Yeah,
so I look at
history.
Memphis.
They've got that.
Even as dysfunctional as Chicago is, if I'm Caleb Wilson's agent, I'm secretly going, take Boozer. Please take Boozer. I don't think you should, but I want you to.
How many times, though, do we see in the NBA that you have a huge free agent move that makes a big impact?
Once every 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. Now, yeah, you can say Kevin Durant to the Warriors, but the Warriors were already such a dominant team at the time. Did Kevin Durant really move the needle for the Warriors? Yeah, he helped them win an NBA championship, but they might have won that without Kevin Durant.
And Gary Birch in our YouTube comment said, yes, major market Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City was a cheat code. They just compiled first-round picks. That team was an assault on your eyeballs for, 5 years after Westbrook, Durant, and Harden left that place?
Oh, they were abysmal.
But they have the best GM in the league.
There you go.
So they're identifying talent. And Sam Presti basically came out and said, look, we're just going to take 1 million shots. Eventually we'll get a handful of them right.
Yeah.
Then they got 7 of them right.
Well, that's the thing is that they started hitting multiple. And, of course, when you have the trade for SGA and how it worked out and then the capital that they had and, of course, as you start winning, and then for them to have another opportunity to build through the draft, because that's where these teams are getting better, is building through the draft. And, of course, yes, you make some trades, but it's not so much about just adding some of the free agents that move the needle for the NBA teams.
Well, I mean, the beauty of the NBA is that once you build the team, so long as you have the liquid asset, so long as you have the war chest of money, you keep that team together forever.
Yeah, you can.
So you look at the Jalen Williams, the SGA, all the way down to the middle of the roster. They can keep these guys together forever.
Yes.
So long as they're okay with paying that luxury tax.
That's right.
I've always thought, and tying this back into what I know so well, the NFL, we don't do that. There comes a time where every one of these rosters is going to get dismantled.
Yeah.
If you look at Kansas City has been – you remember that Flex Seal? That thing they used to sell on midnight television?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, look, we put Flex Seal on the bottom of this boat and it floated. Stand on it. As soon as you stand on that thing, it's going to take on water and you're going to be sleeping with the fishes at the bottom of that thing. That's what Kansas City's doing, but it works. If you've got Pat Mahomes.
Well, that's the thing. Yes.
That works.
If you've got generational type of players.
Today,
OKC has that.
We are going to continue our two-a-days today. Richmond has said that he has a little he's a little worried because we're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, the New Orleans Saints.
Exactly. I mean, what positives am I going to say about the Cincinnati Bengals and New Orleans Saints?
Well, there's one. I chose these were chosen, but then I thought about it.
There is one for the Bengals. I'll give you that.
There's a real big one that's new that fixes a huge problem for that team.
Of course.
The Saints, they have another player that you're very familiar with that I would love to hear your take on.
Yes.
We also had breaking news this morning in the NFL that we'll talk about after the commercial break. He's Richmond Weaver. I'm Jeremy Green. You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Radio Asheville.
Now here's your
You're clear.
Thank you, bud.
dollars. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Rich. That's rich. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNAVL.com to play, and good luck.
With iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. If you manage a business or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way. Call 844-844-iHeart. Again, that's 844-844-iHeart.
The Cold Mountain Music Festival is back Friday, May 29th and Saturday, May 30th at beautiful Lake Logan, just outside Canton. This year's lineup includes J.D. Clayton, Mason Villa, Amanda Ann Platt and the Honeycutters, Shed House Trio featuring Darren Nicholson, and a whole lot more. This family-friendly festival features a kids zone, waterfront activities, local vendors, food trucks, and local craft beer and wine. Plus, join us for a Friday night barn dance and after party at Celebration Hall. For more information and to get your tickets, go to coldmountainmusic.org.
Hello, I'm Robert Smigel. I did lots of things. Cartoons on SNL, Conan stuff, Triumph the Insult Comic Dogs, some movies. But now I'm past my peak. So I'm hosting a podcast, Humor Me with Robert Smigel and Friends. Each week, me and my favorite comedians, writers, and whatnots help regular people just like you, presuming you're regular, who have some project or task that they'd like us to help make funnier.
Search Humor Me on iHeartRadio, America's #1 podcast network, and the Webby Podcast Company of the Year.
I'm David.
And I'm Christina.
And this is our Ingalls story.
Ginger's Revenge is a brewery located in Asheville, North Carolina that specializes in the production of hard ginger beer.
So we use all natural, whole ingredients, and I think that really sets us apart.
Ingalls is an amazing partner for us to work with. A lot of our fans know that they can go to Ingalls and find a lot of the flavors that we have available, and they just make it really easy for folks to purchase local products.
I'm Coley Duffy.
I'm Cody Ward.
And we're the Chainsaw Brothers.
Actually, we're cousins. A few days after Lean, we was in the driveway having a couple beers, waiting on the power to come back on. And we heard so many people calling, needing trees removed, and couldn't afford it.
So I called my dad to borrow a chainsaw, and over the next few months, we cleared trees for our neighbors. Our business was born out of wanting to help Western North Carolina get back on our feet.
We are fully insured and licensed. We keep our promises, meaning if we say we're going to be there, we'll be there. In these parts, we live how we were raised.
When you call the Chainsaw Brothers, you're not a customer, you're family. We're good at what we do, and we do it for a reasonable cost.
For all your chainsaw needs, call the Chainsaw Brothers. 828-316-1013. Or find us on Facebook. See how we treat our family.
Are you still covered up with storm damage and debris?
Call us about our daily rates at 828-316-1013. That's 828-316-1013. We're the Chainsaw Brothers, and with our neighbors, we are Western North Carolina strong.
Woohoo! Sure, you know Appalachian Motor Coach is the official shuttle sponsor of the Living the Dream Tailgate Tour. But did you know that they can get you anywhere in style? Weddings, bachelorette parties, corporate gatherings, family reunions, Appalachian Motor Coach makes the ride part of the fun. Luxury seating, climate control, and none of the stress of parking or driving. Appalachian Motor Coach gets you there relaxed, on time, and ready for the party. For more information, visit them at AppalachianMotorCoach.com. Appalachian Motor Coach, the best memories start on the ride.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen and keep moving forward.
All right, we're back now.
You're live in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Radio Asheville. I am at the NFL Draft Nerd Jeremy Green. No Tank Spencer today, having a little procedure done, so all the thoughts and prayers to Tank. But he filling in for him, Richmond Weaver, from the Richmond Weaver Show here in lovely Greenville, South Carolina, which is where I actively am.
Yes.
Because I'm doing overtime tonight, 7 to 9. You can find that on 104.9 FM, and you can find him right after this show. Richmond True Warrior today. He's doing 5 solid hours of radio.
I don't know if I knew exactly what I was signing up for when you said
that was intentional.
Can you help me out?
That was intentional.
Monday? And so then when you texted me yesterday just to confirm, that's when it hit me after I said, yes, sir. Like, oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm committed to a thing here.
That's right.
It's those are my Mondays. Because Monday I do this show from here.
Yeah.
And then I do the overtime. And they're two completely different shows. Because overtime is strictly callers. We want to talk about what you want to talk about.
Exactly.
That's really hard to prep for. Especially, I'm not super comfortable as the point guy. I told you this in the break. I was like, you'll have to bear with me on the rejoiners because I forget which station we're on sometimes. Don't be shocked if I say 104.9, especially since it's right behind my head. I'm not quite as comfortable with that. I've been so lucky that I've had Tank for all these years.
Yeah, it does help, and I totally understand that because I do remember first getting into radio here in the Greenville area, and especially because I do color analyst work on the TV side for college basketball for the Southern Conference and for Big South, and so for me, that's what I'm comfortable with also. Just being the color guy, let the play-by-play guy. They set it all up. I tell the how and the why, not the what and the when. And that's somewhat of the same thing on radio. That's where I was more used to being in that second chair. But with the opportunity to come over here to 104.9 Fox Sports Upstate and have my own show, then it was almost one of those situations where, this is it. You're pushed into it, and there's
sink or swim.
Yes, and there's value to that. And you do get more comfortable. You get the reps from that side of things. And so it'll come more natural to you.
It's literally the only way to do it.
It is, because you cannot replicate it. And I talk about it so much on the show. And I'm saying it from a coaching perspective also, that as much as we look at teams and how they practice, and especially if it's a big game coming up and you're trying to replicate what the game environment might be like. And yes, you can pump in the music, you can do certain things, you can even have wet balls out there if you know it's going to be raining, all of that. But you cannot replicate the pressure of the moment and how that plays out. And and it's the same way with this. You can prep, you can do all the things you want, you can get advice from people, but it's until you're actually sitting in the chair, until you're in front of the microphone and it's over the airwaves, that's the only way you're truly going to be able to understand that. And I remember when I was assistant basketball coach at Maryland Eastern Shore and low Division I, but we're getting ready to play Maryland. And this is Gary Williams, and they would press all day
long. Oh, those teams were so good.
Just suffocating press, full court press for 40 minutes. It wasn't, the perspective of the Arkansas days, 40 minutes of hell with Nolan Richardson, but it was very close to it there with Gary Williams. So it was my responsibility for that game. The head coach would assign each assistant coaches, hey, here's your X number of games. You're going to be responsible for the scouting report. So I was responsible for Maryland. And I'm like, okay. So I had this great idea. Oh, we're going to practice the full court press, but we're going to have it 8-on-5. We're going to have 8 guys on defense, and that's how we're going to be able to overcome Maryland's press.
And it looked so good.
Oh, my goodness. For the first 10 minutes, it was horrible. But then they got the hang of it. Okay, hey, we're finding the open spots. We're, dribble penetration. We're moving the ball extremely well where we need to break the press, so to speak. And then we go to Maryland. And then in the first 3 minutes, we had 6 turnovers on the press. Guys just had no way to comprehend what they did in practice to the speed of the Maryland players and how great their press defense was. So my point is that, you can plan, you can try to replicate it as much as you want, but until the red light goes on, basically, you just can't.
It's the old Mike Tyson line. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
That's right.
And as soon as you get punched in the mouth, that whole plan goes out and you go, uh-oh, I have to survive.
That's right.
Because now, and it's the same thing that happens here. Richmond and I we're very similar in our roles. We don't really, we look nothing alike, but and we don't act much alike either because he's very professional and I'm whatever the opposite of that is. But that's what we do. That we are the information guy, the break it down, the X's and O's. We're really good at that. And then you get to this point where you're like, hey, what time are we supposed to go to commercial?
That's right.
And I'm looking at a screen for not the station we're on. So that's fun.
So you have no idea.
So if the clock sounds a little different today, if all the things sound a little different today, we apologize.
That's right.
But it'll be entertaining nonetheless.
Yes, well, I would have to say I do a lot of apologizing to my listeners in the upstate, and I call them the investors because they're investing their most precious commodity. It's their time to be able to listen, and I'm very appreciative of that. But I do have to apologize quite a bit because of my flubs, because of issues, technical issues, whatever. And sometimes when Trey Falco, the producer, who, of course, helps you on Overtime each Monday from 7 to 9 right here on Fox Sports Upstate.
That's called a promo.
That is.
That was a pro move right there.
But when I have to run the board and talk on the mic, well, that's a different animal there. Yeah,
I refuse. I won't
get
do
it. Yes. And so there's been a few moments, man, I've laid out some great commentary for like 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, just absolutely, I'm in the flow. I feel great about coming out of break and then realize, oh, we've had 3 minutes of dead air because I didn't have a mic on.
Let's go. I would be lying if I said I've never done that. I did UNCA basketball. So that was how they taught me to run the board, because for the longest time, I really couldn't do anything in the studio. And I don't like not knowing.
Yeah.
I don't want there to be any part of the business, because at least for our business in Asheville, I own the business.
Yeah.
I should know how to do everything.
To at least have an understanding of everything, no doubt.
Definitely not what I do every day. But I wanted to at least understand.
Yes.
So they basically used me for 2 years with UNCA basketball. I learned the hard way one time that just because you can hear yourself doesn't mean anybody else can hear you.
That's right.
Because I had 2 mics. I had the one furthest away from me on, and so I could hear it clearly because I'm deaf. So my headphones are cranked to 1,000. I did the entire halftime show off a microphone that was across the room.
Yeah.
So everybody on radio could hear me very distantly.
Yeah.
And the color guys are not there to tell me, hey, we can't hear you.
That's right.
So
No,
I didn't find that out until we went back and heard the playback, and I went, I worked over an hour on that 15 minutes. I was very proud of it. No one heard it.
The trials and tribulations of this job. But I would have to say, that's what's great. The listeners, in my opinion, they do understand that it's not going to be perfect. But hey, we're here to hopefully entertain, for a period of time and have people involved in some of the discussions. Because, again, I'm very interested in hearing different perspectives and different viewpoints. And it's okay to have different viewpoints and have somewhat of a little bit of debate and maybe even get to the point where, okay, we're just going to agree to disagree. You have your opinion. I have mine.
That is that is Tank and I pretty much every day.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
The vast majority of the time. And, it's so funny. You get, and I tell people this all the time, when you were talking about the stuff we do with the NFL draft, nobody ever mentions Tank in that. And that it drives me absolutely bananas, because Tank is the guy that will hear a name that I say, and he may not. And I'll give you an example. One of them plays for the Carolina Panthers now. Will Lee the second, the cornerback out of Texas A&M. He didn't know anything about this kid. I waxed poetic about him one day for probably 20 solid minutes. And so the next day I come in and he's watching Will Lee film. I have absolutely no idea where he got it from, because he didn't get it from me. I have to get it from the schools. So Tank, on his own volition, goes out and finds the tape to watch this kid, and then he's in love with him.
There you go.
And I'm like, that right there. That's what you need.
That's right.
In this business. You got to have a desire to learn the things that you don't know.
You do. No, I agree 1,000%. And it has definitely helped me be able to be more well-rounded. The one area that I'm probably the least rounded in, and that's baseball, because I don't have a whole lot of interest in baseball, just the pace of play. Now, of course, the pitch clock, that has helped significantly, but it's also the length of the season. Now, I love when it gets down to the crunch time, and you're getting close to Major League Baseball playoffs. Now, I do love that. And as even much as an NBA guy, I love the NBA, but it's hard for me to get energized with the NBA in October.
Oh, I don't know how anybody does that.
Yes. I mean, it's, of course, we're right in the middle of college football. It's the NFL. And so it's almost like a disservice, in my opinion, to NBA fans that you're having the season start right in the midst of everything else going on. That
the NBA obliterates its schedule. It is the dumbest schedule of any sport. I have always said this. The NBA season should start when? I'm just curious. We did not prep this. I'm just curious if you say the same thing I do.
I would say end of December, beginning of January.
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Play all 30 teams on Christmas Day. The NFL has one game, and they're already stealing that inventory.
Oh, they are. Well, that's the thing. I think the NFL is going to move to at least 3 games on Christmas.
The NFL has some weird – there are some weird television things coming up with the NFL. Our current sitting president is poking some things that he really should leave alone. Because the NFL's – I mean, this has been the worst-kept secret in the world. The NFL they have antitrust.
Yeah.
Exemptions.
That's right.
They don't deserve them. I mean, anybody pokes at this for even 3 seconds, and you'll figure out, oh,
yeah, but it's the
what
precedent.
did you do to the USFL, and what do you do to everything that tries to challenge you? There's a word for that, and it was a board game that we used to play when we were kids, and that's what they're trying to avoid, and you 100% have a monopoly.
Yeah, they do, but I don't think because the precedent was set, and it seems like the court systems are saying, well, that's the precedent, and we're just going to, just by default, we're just going to continue going with how that precedent has been set.
Well, I know actively, Roger Goodell wants to challenge that, and I can't remember now. It's from like the 60s.
Yeah.
Of where they can't play games on Fridays.
That's right.
He wants to challenge that. And every time I hear that, I go, I mean, it's a great idea. I mean, I understand why you want to do it. College football has become, I won't say irrelevant on Fridays, but I think they know. Friday's a hard time to sell anyway.
Yeah, so that would be my question. Again, I know people want to see NFL, but where do you get to that point where it's a tipping point in the negative way in terms of NFL, you're already the big gorilla. Do you need a Friday game? Why do you need a Friday game?
So now we're getting more into my background, which is marketing. The NFL, if it was up to the NFL, they'd have a Wednesday night game, a Thursday night game, a Friday night game. We'll give college football Saturday until it ends, and then we'll play 4 on Saturday.
No, well, we know
the number one thing the NFL hates is what most NFL fans love, is for their team to play 1 o'clock on Sunday. Because it's the hardest thing to sell, and you cut it into so many pieces. So we have this huge entity. We've got all these teams. No sport has a better swath of coverage with each team. There isn't I'm not trying to take a shot at the hometown team here, but there is no Charlotte Hornets in the NFL. The least popular team in the NFL still has millions of fans.
Yes.
What the NFL hates is that the way they stacked this, we've got to play at least 6 in that 1 o'clock Sunday window. We've got to play no less than 3 in the Sunday afternoon window. Those are redundant. They're on top of each other.
Yeah.
One of their great creations is one of the things they hate the most, which is NFL Red Zone, because it takes out that you have to watch the individual games. What happens when you do that? You don't see any of the commercials. I actually heard I can't remember now who it was, but it was somebody that was in sports business that said the one thing that the NFL has a huge problem of right now is that the sponsors want to be on the playoff games. They want to be on the standalone games, Netflix, Amazon Prime, because I've got you.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot go anywhere else. This is the only thing. There's no competition. I've got you. But they're really struggling with those Sunday 1 o'clock, to the point of they're having to give some of them to the bigger sponsors. Ford is a huge endorser with the NFL. If you ever notice, there's a Ford commercial that plays in practically every window Sunday at 1 o'clock, because they were one of the ones that went, we don't care. keep Chevy off of it. That's all we care about. As long as it's us and not Chevy or Nissan, we don't care.
Yeah.
That is, from a business perspective, that is something that's very strange with the NFL at this point, is that they've kind of painted themselves into a corner. And so they're trying to pull it back. They don't want to do what the NBA did. The NBA killed its filter system. So when NIL and the age limit and all of the things happened, you basically killed college basketball. From a coast-to-coast standpoint, it went from Carolina Duke getting 8.5, 9.5 on ESPN because we know all of the players. And you can sell jerseys, and then that kid is just ready-made for the NBA. You look at the four we've got this year, we haven't had a class like that.
No.
Not since we went to this, because we hemorrhaged it. How many of us, Scoot Henderson, going to the G League, nobody on the planet Earth has ever watched a G League Ignite game. I'm 100% sure of that. I think the people in the crowd, I think they paid them off the street. Like, here's $20. Just come sit in this seat and act like you care for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's all social media people.
For sure. And so you basically killed the system. The system's still great for people that love college basketball. But NBA fans stopped watching college basketball because that stopped being where they were getting their players from.
Yeah, but it's reversing now.
I agree with that. I think it really hurts not the lower tier. The lower tier at this point is basically the filler system for the mid-majors. The mid-majors are the filler system for the high majors.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at it. I know you're very close with the Furman program.
Yes.
Alex Wilkins. What an unbelievable find for Bob Ritchie to get this kid out of Massachusetts to come to Greenville, South Carolina to play basketball, and he was out of this world. He was SoCon Freshman of the Year, I believe.
They don't give out Freshman of the Year anymore. But
he won something.
Yeah, he was actually second team All-SoCon, but he was also the Southern Conference Tournament Most Outstanding Player there in Asheville as Furman wins of course, the championship there. Yeah, and he was such a huge difference maker. And you're starting to see now, this is what's happening, as you talked about, the mid-majors are definitely almost the developmental league for the high majors. But there's also the situation where these high major players might not be a fit where they might
goes in reverse.
It goes in reverse. And so you've got these guys coming down to the mid-majors. And so you're starting to see guys play longer in college. And I think that's a good thing for NBA teams and college basketball fans, that you might not necessarily know these players, but these players are staying at least in college, and I think it's a good thing.
I do as well. I'm pretty close with a sitting ACC coach. If you know me well enough, you can probably figure out who it is. That basically told me we don't have to scout the two, 1 stars. No. We don't have to scout those guys because we're going to let them go play at one of these schools.
Right.
And then the ones that we're really interested in, they're going to show us what we need.
Yes.
So you see that guy playing in a SoCon tournament, or you see that guy playing in a MEAC tournament or something like that. And this kid goes for 25 and he can space the floor and he's the point guard and all of the things are working the way that they need to. That's where they're finding those kids.
Of course.
They stopped wasting their time on traveling all over the country. That's why I'm always so impressed when I see somebody like Alex Wilkins. I didn't realize this. Like half of the guys from Furman this past year were from places that make no geographic sense whatsoever.
Well, there's the other side is, so a lot of these high school players, they're getting under-recruited now because what you're talking about. So an Alex Wilkins is not getting recruited, is not getting seen as much as maybe he would have 10 years ago because of the transfer portal. And so you have these guys that fall, so to speak, and land in these terrific spots with Bob Ritchie over there at Furman. And you see it in other places, also like a Kamari Holmes at Wofford. Now, he was a sophomore this year, but, I mean, he was there at Wofford as a freshman and then had an explosion his sophomore year. And then now he's headed off to DePaul. And even like Cooper Bowser. I mean, he's 6'11". that played at Furman. And so he has high major height and size. He's elite from that side of things, and rim protection. He's a rim runner, all of that. But he was able to develop, and then now he's off to Arkansas. So you're having those guys that do fall through the cracks from a recruiting standpoint, because years ago, a size like that, Cooper Bowser, a high major is going to roll the dice and say,
no doubt,
hey, we'll see what happens just because he's 6'11".
That was I've always called that the Drew Pember rule. You know, Drew goes to Tennessee.
Phenomenal player.
It didn't work out, not necessarily because of anything he did, more because how much was in his way.
Yes.
Then he winds up at UNCA. He wins Big South Player of the Year twice.
Yes.
And now he's
phenomenal there.
Oh, he was a phenomenal player.
Yeah. It even looked like a Cam Taylor at UNC Asheville, now going to Florida State.
Yep.
I mean, the
Florida
explosiveness.
State loves the Asheville connection. In the last, I got to make sure I get this right. In the last 5 years, Florida State has had 6 players on that roster that are either from Asheville, they played in Asheville, or they had a large portion of their AAU circuit that came through Asheville. I do not know where that's coming from. Now, one of the biggest boosters of Florida State does live in Asheville. And selfishly, I'll say.
I know. Yeah.
I'm not going to say I haven't said, hey, you should look at that because he's real, real good. It's funny to see those little honey holes pop up for schools that, I mean, they geographically have no reason to be pulling all these kids out of Asheville, but they do.
Yeah. And because now, again, you have the opportunity just from a recruiting standpoint. I mean, it is nationwide, and they're going to find players. And I talk about this, too, as we're talking more college basketball here. But the NFL, you're good enough, they're going to find you.
No doubt.
That's just
no doubt. Charles Demings, that's a kid from Stephen F. Austin. If I had $1 for every scout that asked me about him over the course of the draft process, I'd probably have $150. Doesn't sound like much, but that's about 150 times.
Yes, exactly.
He's Richmond Weaver. I'm Jeremy Green. We did that thing where we blew through a commercial break, so we have to pay some bills, but we will return right after this in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Radio Asheville.
ESPN Asheville.
You're clear.
Thank you, bud.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Continuing with our shower chance, maybe even a thunderstorm as we get into the afternoon. I think as you go south, a little less of a chance of rain. 70 should do it. Tonight, we'll clear it rather nicely. Wake up tomorrow morning about 45, so maybe a light jacket. Then sunny and pleasant for Tuesday afternoon, 75. By Wednesday, another chance of showers and afternoon thunderstorms, otherwise sun and clouds, upper 70s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Staging.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Wednesday, May 13th, the Orange Peel presents Toadies. Get your tickets now. Online at theorangepeel.net. Don't miss Toadies Live, May 13th. See you at the Peel.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home. That red talkback mic on the free iHeart app, it's more powerful than it looks. One tap can get you in the conversation.
You guys, are you serious?
Enter to win something amazing.
That $1,000.
Or just a request.
What up?
Try it now. Just open the free iHeart Radio app.
Larissa sells WNC as the #1 team in Buncombe County. We have the customer service experience to assist you in achieving your real estate goals. Our team offers something that 90% of listings in our market won't have, Zillow Showcase. Check us out at larissasellswnc.com.
The Ingalls Advantage isn't just about savings or the best quality food for your family. It's more than that. It's the advantage of being a part of a community. That's why we provide over 2 million pounds of food every year through regular donations and programs like the Ingalls Giving Tree, Food for Thought, and the Ingalls Fill a Backpack program. It's the right thing to do. And we know that you would do the same. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
Now, sometimes it don't always work for an injury, but it's practice that makes it perfect.
All right, we're back.
We're back in the Sportsocracy. He's Richmond Weaver. I'm Jeremy Green. We're talking all things sports. There was a story that broke this morning that we have missed up until this point. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Yes.
They really want just a stable of tight ends. David Njoku signing with the Chargers. I don't know why I have this blind faith in Jim Harbaugh, but I do.
Because he's a proven winner.
Year 3.
Yeah.
It's always year 3.
That's a good point.
And this is year 3 with the Chargers.
Does Herbert make that leap, though?
I think Herbert's always been that player. Herbert's one of those, and it's we get into a lot of arguments about Justin Herbert because people get so locked into the end game, the result. I've long said I think Justin Herbert's one of the 6 best quarterbacks we have in this league. You have the top 3, which is unalienable for me, which is Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's that weird 4.
He's a mash unit, though. That's the problem.
He's always hurt. Matthew Stafford's 38.
Yeah.
That's the 5. And then I get to that 6th spot, and it's been Jaden Daniels. It's been C.J. Stroud. And at some point, every one of those guys shows us why it's not them. Now, I think Jaden is 7. Jaden is the one that it was just injuries. When that kid's healthy, he's going to be really good. And you can call me a homer all you want to. I don't care. Great time to say, Command the Warpath. New Washington Commanders podcast starts with me next week.
There you go.
Stay tuned to our social medias for more information on that. Those two things did not actually have anything to do with each other, but they kind of did. Herbert is the one that I always come back to and go, you've got the talent. I think he's had a lot of weird things happen to him. I never liked Brandon Staley. I never liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was in over his skis. I thought it was super obvious. And the further time went on with the Chargers, to me, the more obvious it was.
Yeah, and especially when it mattered most, come playoff time.
And then he's had Harbaugh here for 2 years. He's lost his left tackle 2 years in a row.
Yes.
This year he lost his right tackle, who moved over to the left side. So he's playing with Jamari Sawyer at left tackle. You cannot win in this league that way. Joe Burrow has been proof positive of it. Because I think Joe's one of the best prospects I ever graded. Even he can't survive when you got a mash unit over there on the left side. Because you get hit that many times, bad things are going to happen.
That's right. And it's not even so much all of the hits. Yes, of course, the hits and the sacks, but it's just the pressures and what that does to a quarterback and his ability to process things even faster under pressure. It makes it extremely difficult because the timing is messed up, the rhythm is messed up. So any type of break in that offensive line is bound to statistically show you that it's going to fail. And that's what's happened there in Cincinnati. So can the Chargers shore that up and protect Herbert, and then can Herbert deliver?
The Chargers are such an interesting team to me this year because I look at that roster. I love that roster. I love what they've done. I love how it sets up because I think you have a guy that can hurt you at every level. And Njoku is such a high-level signing. I do not understand really. I don't really know how he got to $8 million a year. I mean, I've seen tight ends in this offseason sign contracts that make way less sense that I do not think are as good as David Njoku. But if you look at him in the confines of how he's going to fit in this offense, he can be the garbage man. Njoku is an elite garbage man. That's a term I use for tight ends that it may not be pretty, but you're going to do what needs to be done to keep the streets clean.
They're going to do everything that makes a team successful.
And then you got Quentin Johnson over the top. I think you're really going to see a star turn for Marion Hampton. Look, I had Hampton ahead of Ashton Jeanty last year. I never got the Jeanty thing.
Yeah. Well, we know Harbaugh, he needs a running game.
Well, now he's got Jeanty, or he's got Hampton. They added Keaton Mitchell. They've still got Kamani Vidal. There are a lot of pieces in that back. And I guess that's where I'm at with the Chargers. one of the low-key best additions of this offseason was Brennan Thompson, the wide receiver out of Mississippi State. Kid runs a 4.26 40. He can absolutely fly, but he can play football too. If that kid was 2 inches taller, he'd have been a first-round pick because he's a legit receiver. The problem is he is really little.
Yeah.
Herbert's got an arm that he can make use of that speed. And you take him, Quentin Johnston, and then you got Ladd McConkey and Njoku as the trash guys with that kind of running game. I love this Charger team. I do. I love this Charger team. Probably more than I should. But we'll talk about that in the next hour. It's the bottom of the hour. It's two-a-days. So we're talking Cincinnati Bengals, New Orleans Saints. We're going to start with the Cincinnati Bengals right here on ESPN Radio right after this.
Boy, you must be out.
You're clear.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
ESPN Asheville. Your mountain weather forecast.
How long do we have on this commercial break, Brandon?
We've got 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
All right. And then we'll probably have to combine the two, won't we?
So maybe a light jacket and sunny.
Let me see. Okay, let's see. We're at 5. Oh, shoot. Yeah. We'll probably have to just run these together.
Okay. How long is that? 6?
Again.
That'll be about 5 from now.
Perfect. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. That'll get us right to the top of the hour.
Thank you, man.
Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Spring cleaning meets hosting season with Zero Res. Get carpets cleaned for just $35 per room, and stairs are now only $35 too. Plus, take $50 off air duct cleaning. Book now at ZeroResAsheville.com and get guest ready today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
When morning has broken, along with the news, start with the facts and a laugh. First News on 570 with Mark Starling and Tank Spencer. Now on 570 and 92.9 FM.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
When you're a grocery store, hunger has no place in your community. That's why at Ingalls, we donate over 2 million pounds of food every year to those who need it. It's the right thing to do, and we know you'd do the same. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Selling your home? Don't settle for average. Our real estate team at Clarissa Sells WNC and eXp Realty offers Zillow Showcase, an exclusive AI-powered listing experience available to just the top 10% of all listings in our area. With immersive media, cutting-edge design, and elevated marketing, Showcase listings, they go pending quicker and sell for up to $9,000 more than standard listings. Ready to stand out in a crowded market? Give our team a call today, 828-774-6343, because your home deserves the spotlight.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
ESPN Asheville, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, guaranteed human. The Sportsocracy.
All right, we're back into the intro.
Sportsocracy. Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery, live from the Ingalls studio.
And your mic is on.
Hour 2 here on a Monday, the Sportsocracy, ESPN Radio, Asheville. We have no Ken Tankerus. He is having a little procedure done. He will be back with us tomorrow. Tank and I will have Dax and Cash, the AEW Tag Team Champions, at noon tomorrow. I'm very, very excited about that. Our interview with Adam Copeland, some of you know him as Edge from his WWE days, got picked up on Cage Side Seats, Fightful, a whole bunch of other places. It's really funny to see your name on a website where you know they have absolutely no idea who you are, because they try to describe you, and they describe you in a way that doesn't really make sense, which is what I saw over the weekend. Fightful described me as a current comedian, which I am not. I am a former comedian. And they didn't really mention anything about the show or where it was located, which I found to be a little strange. But we do appreciate them for picking up the interview. We appreciate Adam Copeland for doing the interview. Unbeknownst to Tank, he said something in that interview that he had never said before, which was he will be retiring sometime within the next roughly calendar year. We didn't realize it at the time. It got picked up. It became a rather large story around wrestling entities. But outside of a handful of times a year when Tank and I get to explore our inner child, we're largely an NFL show. We continue our two-a-days today with the Cincinnati Bengals, the New Orleans Saints. I am joined in the stead of one Nathaniel Tankerus Spencer by Richmond Weaver, host of the Richmond Weaver Show down here in Greenville, South Carolina, which is where I am today, broadcasting out of our affiliate 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate, which is where you can find him 3 to 5 every weekday. You'll be able to see him right after the show, doing 5 hours of radio in a row.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
That's
how you start off a Monday, right?
That's warrior behavior. I do 5 hours every Monday, but I got a nice little 4-hour break in the middle.
Yes, you do.
Although I am on a keto diet, and literally every restaurant around here has food that I can't eat, and it makes me very sad.
Exactly. Well, I did do at a charity basketball event not too long ago here in Greenville, and it was to raise money for a charity. There was a teenager here in Greenville that was part of the basketball community, and unfortunately he passed away from meningitis. So just absolutely horrible story, but it was a great opportunity for the community to come together, and I was asked to MC the event, and that was from 8 a.m. basically until 7 p.m. So I'm used to be in front of a mic for a long period of time. So I'll manage these 5 hours.
Oh yeah, you're way better suited for me. I have to find food that I can eat.
Oh, well, food is important to me too. I can promise you that. And as you say, I ran right in. I had to take a phone call there. And so I was a little late getting back into the chair, so to speak. But the next break, I am probably going to have to get a snack.
Oh, I probably will have to do this. Richmond was the impetus for my weight loss goals. If for nothing else, every Monday morning we have a meeting that he's walking on a treadmill as we're talking, and I'm like, hey, I feel fat most days. I feel real fat on these Mondays.
Getting my steps in. I love walking. It's so underrated, and my wife and I will go on walks, and I absolutely love it. But I prefer to walk outside. But there's also a time component to it, and multitasking is a real thing. And so I've got a walking pad under my standing desk. And so, yeah, when we have our meetings, I ask you, hey, do you mind if I walk?
Not at all.
And you're like, go ahead.
Richmond eats roughly 11 times a day. None of it is ever food that looks like what Tank and I eat on a daily basis.
Probably not.
And after enough time, I finally went, okay, I have to lose some weight to be friends with you. Because
No, but I accept you as you are.
And I appreciate that greatly.
Just know that.
The only bad thing is that you see Rich and then you see me and then we're in pictures together and I go, that's not a good look. It's not really a good look.
Well, it's not so much about the aesthetics. It's good for your health. That's the big thing. I
did have my first keto challenge over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
We had a couple friends, actually, Michaela, that used to intern with us. She just graduated from Western.
Fantastic.
Her aunt graduated from Mars Hill.
Ooh.
So her aunt got her master's as she got her regular degree. So we went out for dinner. They chose Mountain Madre, lovely Mexican restaurant in Asheville. I love
oh yeah,
all forms of Spanish food.
Yeah.
You can't eat any of it. Like they brought out a menu.
It's carbs.
They brought out a menu and I went, there are 3 things on this I can eat. And you want to talk about willpower? When that bucket of chips comes out, with the queso and the salsa, and you can't have it?
That's right.
I had to dip green beans in salsa, which was lovely.
Hey, you do what you got to do, man. You do what you got to do. And that's where you got to be very creative and just try to order all the protein that you can.
I am eating just an insane amount of steak. Just an insane amount.
I grilled some steaks yesterday for Mother's Day. It was absolutely fantastic.
I love steak. Your daughter graduated this weekend, too.
She did.
Everything go well? I literally just remembered that.
It was absolutely phenomenal. She graduated from University of South Carolina in mass communications and
did that hurt?
Sports entertainment.
I mean, as a Clemson grad, did it hurt?
Yeah, so I will tell the backstory. I'm a Clemson grad. 89 to 93, I was there with the basketball team. And as I mentioned earlier, I co-host the Tiger Tailgate Show, or the Eagles Tiger Tailgate Show, the 3-hour pregame show before every football game, and actually working on some opportunities for basketball also. So excited about that. But Kate is my daughter. Her mom went to Clemson. 2 boys went to Clemson. I went to Clemson. And then when it came down to where Kate was going to go, she got accepted to Clemson and South Carolina, and she chose South Carolina. So, and I had always told my kids, hey, be strong in your confidence in terms of doing what you feel is best for you, and be confident enough that regardless of what other people think, that it's your choice. And then when she told me that, well, okay, I'm going to go to South Carolina, I was like, well, wait a second. Not in this choice, though. You need to go to Clemson.
So it was great advice.
It was great advice until
it backfired a little
the rubber met the road, so to speak. But no, in all reality, I was so proud of her that she did choose South Carolina, because there was, I wouldn't say backlash, but there was going to be some ribbing. There was going to be, a point of tension, so to speak, that I know that she might have felt, thinking that, oh, my disappointing my dad, my mom, by not going to Clemson. And of course, her brothers gave her grief. That's for certain. But I think it actually, what I had told her, she actually listened to it and said, you know what? I'm going to make my choice, even though I know that might not be a popular choice, and I'm going to be confident in that choice. And she absolutely loved her time at South Carolina. She said it was the best decision that she's made.
I love that school.
Yeah. And so my caveat to it was that I told her, all right, I am all in, and I will wear some of the garnet and black. I just can't wear the logo, though. I just can't have anything that has the logo on there. I can wear some of the colors, but I just can't wear the logo.
Well, your son is headed to a school that I hate, particularly.
Pittsburgh.
Well.
Yeah,
he's going
my
to
oldest
Pitt.
one's going to Pitt Law School in June.
I must say, very proud that he's going to law school. I'm sure he will make a great lawyer. I just really wish he had gone to any other school. That was so hard the week of the draft. They kept playing Sweet Caroline.
Oh, yeah.
And if you know anything about the West Virginia-Pittsburgh rivalry, we have a little additive that we add to Sweet Caroline. And every time it played, I mean, I did it under my breath. I did it quite loud on Radio Row. And I made a friend for life because he heard me do it. And he went, I know why you did that. Yes, you do. But school choices are always fun.
Yeah, very fun. But again, I'm very happy, and the graduation went great. We went out to lunch. She had a 3 p.m. graduation, lasted a couple hours, and then we were able to get a few appetizers, meet up with some of her friends. And she had 2 friends that she's known since 2nd grade that also graduated to South Carolina. So it was like a full circle moment in life that they've been friends since 2nd grade and also graduated on the same day together from South Carolina. And then now they're in Puerto Rico.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes, exactly.
I've got a bunch of friends that they were expecting to graduate the same day I did, and 21 years later, they're still waiting because they never did. Never did.
There's still time.
Oh, no, I'm far beyond that age. I have eclipsed that. It's just one of those boxes that I'm just never going to check. Now, here's my hope, is that I do look like Luke Combs, so maybe a school will feel the urge to give me an honorary degree,
of course,
the way that they just did him.
That's right.
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with that. Degree's a degree.
Hey.
And now, I mean, in all reality, how much, and this is such a tangent here.
It's never come up. I know what you're about to ask. It has never, in all the years.
Yeah. So, I mean, how much are we actually valuing degrees now?
I worked here.
Unless you're going to be a doctor or you're going to be a lawyer or something so specific.
I worked here for 5 years before anybody figured out I didn't have a degree. It's on my resume that I did not complete my degree.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I had been here 5 years before one of the bosses went, hey, did you know he didn't have a degree? I did tell you. Yeah. If you didn't know, that's on you. And then it was never brought up again.
Because experience and quality of work does matter.
I have a lot of experience. Quality of work, I'm still hoping that one day
you're selling yourself.
I'm hoping I can.
Short.
I'm hoping I can stack that up one day.
Work ethic, all of that matters
for sure.
Just as much as
I would say
degree.
more. I would say more.
Yeah. Oh, I would agree 1,000%. It was viewed as the degree was the only way to open the door, and now we're seeing in today's society, that's not accurate, because you can make money, you can earn a living, you can have a career in doing so many different things that a degree is nothing more than just something you hang up on your wall, because how much did you actually learn that has helped in your career? I've got a business management degree, and I was a basketball coach. But at the time, you had to have a degree. It was viewed as something that was the only way to get one of the better jobs in the United States. And I just don't think that's accurate anymore.
Gary Birch in the YouTube comment said he was at the 3 p.m. graduation as well.
Let's go.
His wife got her master's in nursing, FNP.
Fantastic.
I do not know what that stands for.
FNP?
FNP. I do not know what that stands for.
Ooh, I don't know either.
I had 2 mother-in-laws that were both nurses. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what that means.
Nurse practitioner, maybe? Something?
Maybe.
Nurse practitioner?
Maybe. We'll see if he...
yeah. Let us know, Gary. Yeah. That's awesome. And the way they do graduation now is crazy. And I do like that South Carolina and Clemson still does the same thing. And I know South Carolina was pushing more of the narrative that they're one of the few schools their size that continue to read all of the names, and which I do think that's great. Outside of the people that, even though they ask you, no clapping, no yelling when your person's name is being called, because it takes away from hearing the next name that's being called. And now it's all AI. So each person walks up there with their phone and they scan a QR code or a barcode, and their name is just pronounced through AI. And so it goes pretty seamless, but you have a little bit of a lag as far as where the person is walking across and when their name is actually called, from that standpoint. But I just love that we have that ability that's where AI makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, stop using it, and this is aimed at anybody in business. Stop using it for all of your social media interactions. We can tell.
Oh yes,
all of those college football 27 things. First of all, there's no R in Clemson. There's no R in Ohio State Buckeyes either. So we see that and go, oh, yeah, it's an AI thing. Not an AI thing. The Cincinnati Bengals.
Ooh.
This is a team I have had blind faith in for so many years.
Yeah, because they have a quarterback.
But Joe just can't stay upright.
That's right. And no defense.
Well, that was a problem. I firmly believe Cincinnati's defense is going to be markedly better in 26. One of the biggest problems they had was that they had just nothing in the middle of that defense.
That's right.
You want to know a way to fix that? Go get big Dexter Lawrence and Jonathan Allen.
Sexy Dex.
A guy you know well from his Clemson days.
Yes.
I will be very intrigued to see how he plays in this defense. Because, look, Cincinnati used a ton of draft capital trying to get a defensive tackle that Chris Jenkins Jr., a guy that I know his dad well. Never quite saw how he was a second-round pick, but he was fine. Just hasn't been much of a player in the NFL. They still have B.J. Hill. McKinley Jackson, if you can get anything out of him, will be a benefit. My biggest question is, do you have the pieces on the outside? As losing Trey Hendrickson, I firmly believe that's not going to be the loss that everybody thinks it is. Because for Cincinnati, he was not that guy last year. He wasn't Trey Hendrickson last year.
Yeah.
He only played in a handful of games. I think we figured out the other day he had 4.5 sacks. It's just not a huge loss. I think he can be a good player for the Baltimore Ravens, but if you're taking what happened to Cincinnati in 2025, I don't think you're going to miss a ton of what you got out of Trey Hendrickson.
Maybe not. I do think the addition of Dexter Lawrence is significant.
I think it makes everybody on the edge better.
Yes.
It makes Miles Murphy better. Another guy you know quite well.
I mean, these Clemson guys.
What is the deal with that? Why you're the perfect person to ask this question to. I've asked this for years, and nobody ever can give me a really good explanation. What is it about Clemson defensive linemen that they seem to start so slow in the NFL? I'm not asking you to attack your own school. It's just I was asked this 1,000 times with Parker and Woods this year. Because I liked them both to a point. I liked Parker where he went. I did not like him where we were talking about him going. Mm-hmm. And I was in love with Peter Woods.
Yeah, there's so many question marks with both of those guys based on what we're viewing as production this past season. But I would say the NFL, yes, production does matter, but it's not and you know this better than me. I mean, it's much more than just production. Is it going to translate, and what's their ceiling? And that's where I think the NFL does such a great job of knowing their algorithm and understanding how to evaluate these players. But I do think it shows that what Dexter Lawrence was able to do when the Bengals, I mean, they could have gotten Peter Woods, but
they were actually very interested in Peter Woods.
Yeah, well,
something happened at the pro day. I have no idea what it is. I have asked every single person that was there.
Yeah. So did they just believe more in Dexter Lawrence, though?
I don't think they even knew at that time. I don't even think they knew Dexter Lawrence was going to be available because that had all come out. The Clemson Pro Day was in the middle of March. I can't remember what day. But I know a couple of the guys on staff at Clemson. Every bit of intel I had was Cincinnati is hot to trot on Peter Woods. They go to the Pro Day. They were all over Peter Woods. They leave the Pro Day. They didn't even make it to the airport, and they already had a deal in place with Jonathan Allen. And nobody's been able to tell me anything. I have a theory, but that's all it is. This is pure speculation. Cincinnati has not had the greatest time with Clemson players. They've drafted a handful of them. And every one of them, they've found out something afterwards that was not disclosed to them. And I think that's what it is.
On the defensive side?
Miles Murphy, Barrett Carter, and then there were two more. Neither one was with the team anymore, and I can't remember who they were. Somebody in the chat, Evan Doyle will know. Because he was actually the one that turned me on to this Clemson-Cincinnati pipeline of they've drafted a lot of them. Then something's come out about every single one of them.
Yeah, but not T. Higgins.
No, T's not. I'm talking about strictly defensive.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. But I think and this is what's so fun about the offseason, is that I think whatever happened at that pro day is what led to the trade. Because Dexter, and if you go back and look at the timeline.
But didn't Dexter Lawrence, he had already announced that he wanted to explore trade options.
Not
right?
when the pro day happened. That was, it had been said that he would welcome a trade.
Yeah.
And then the pro day happened, and it sounded like they were trending towards a deal. And then the next thing you know, he comes out and says, demand a trade, I want out of here. And Schefter, Rappaport, all of the guys were like, yeah, he's going to find his way out.
Well, that's why I think the Bengals, if you're sitting there, and again, I know you've got a few more years on Dexter Lawrence's resume than if you select Peter Woods, but I think at the end of the day, Dexter Lawrence is better than Peter Woods. And so when it came time and you knew you had an opportunity to go get Dexter Lawrence, I think you're jumping at that opportunity if you're Cincinnati. And that was one of the few moves that I felt confident that Cincinnati, okay, every once in a while you seem to make a smart move, because over the past several years, I view the Cincinnati Bengals maybe not in the same light as the Cleveland Browns, but not too far from it in terms of a dysfunctional organization.
They're cheap.
Yeah.
The problem with Cincinnati is that they are cash cheap. And so I guess that's why it blew my mind so much that they were the team that came in so hard on Dexter Lawrence. And this is more behind the curtain, talking to agents, sitting around having, chips and guac at a restaurant at the draft.
This is before keto for you.
Yes. There is no keto during the season. So once the season starts, there's too many hot dogs and cold beers. Yeah. Keto's out the window. I got 4 months to lose weight.
And especially in the NFL draft. Everything's on the table.
Everybody wants to meet for a beer. Nobody wants to meet for a kale salad. It's my lot in life, and I embrace it readily. I believe that the Cincinnati Bengals got to Dexter Lawrence, because I have it on good authority that the Giants thought the extension was done. The extension was done. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, he wasn't happy with it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Evan Doyle in the YouTube chat said that Al Golden just hated Peter Woods' performance in the pro day.
Okay.
I watched it. I've seen every snap of it. I did not see it the same way, but he knows his system better than I do. See, when I scout a guy, I got to scout him for 32 teams. Because if I see a guy and go, he's got a really high upside, but it's only going to work with about 5 teams. Well, that's still 5 teams. It's probably the 5 teams that are most likely to draft him. It's the reason that some people will accuse me of being, I like everybody. Well, I mean, these are top 200 guys in the draft for a reason. There's a lot of things to like about them. It's just you get guys that are miscast.
Yeah.
So now I look at Cincinnati, and this is what I was building to with the Dexter Lawrence thing. I look at all these pieces that they've added. I did not love Shamar Stewart. I thought he was an athletic freak.
Yeah.
He did not have the production. And to what you said about production, I've seen a ton of guys have otherworldly production that couldn't play dead in a cowboy movie in the NFL. I've also seen guys that only had 7 sacks in college that come in their second year in the league have 17.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I've just seen both sides of that coin. I am a huge fan of complementary drafting and complementary player acquisition. So if you just look over the last handful of years, Cincinnati signed Boye Mafe to a big free agent deal this year. They drafted Myles Murphy in the first round a couple years ago. They drafted Shamar Stewart in the first round last year. They drafted Cassius Howell in the second round this year. So now if you look at that defensive rotation, there are a lot of guys that were Bengal capital investments. What does that do? So when you throw that many guys at the defense, it's the exact same thing the Houston Texans are doing with the offensive line. I don't know what combination of this is going to work, but I know there's a combination here that will work.
Yeah.
And by midseason, I'm going to figure it out. And if that means Myles Murphy's coming off the bench and it's Shamar Stewart and Cassius Howell and Boye Mafe and Myles Murphy are situational pass rushers, so be it. I don't care what we paid them. We've got to do something. And I keep tying it back to the linebackers because I like Barrett Carter. Oren Burks had a really good season with Philadelphia Eagles. You know, gangsta granddaddy himself, Demetrius Knight.
Yeah.
That's Fred Smoot gave him that nickname, and now I can't call him anything else. I like all 3 of those guys. But with linebackers, you have to have people movers up front that allow these guys to move freely. I don't care how good you are at attacking a running lane if nobody can open the running lane.
Yeah.
If you're just playing blind behind guys that are getting shoved around, it is hard to fill those gaps. And so I'm looking at the front 7 now of Cincinnati going, that could be good. I know the offense is going to be good. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase could be thrown to by me, and it would be fine. You give them Joe Burrow with Chase Brown, who was arguably the best running back in the NFL the last 6 weeks of the season. That's a good offense.
It is.
The question is, can the defense hold up?
Well, it's been the question mark for several years.
I think it can, and I think this is their best shot at it since Joe Burrow has been there. After the commercial break, we'll talk about the schedule, which comes out Thursday, the opponents for the Cincinnati Bengals, and what is it you want to see on Thursday for Cincinnati to be the best that they can be. He's Richmond Weaver. I'm Jeremy Grieve, and you're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Radio Asheville.
You're clear.
Thank you, sir.
$1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Media. That's media. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPN.
Brandon, we may need to combine 2 breaks here.
And good luck.
Gotcha. The next break is another 3-minute break. You want to just do a 6-minute run right now?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll do the same thing we did at the end of the hour. I went way long there. The clock is on the other side of my head.
Oh, shoot.
And so I'm just running blind, and I looked over and saw 28 and went, oh, yeah, I missed that by a lot.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah, in that case, I'll put these together and make a 6-minute spot, and then at the end, I'll combine those for a 5-minute.
Sounds good. Thank you, buddy.
Disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
News, weather, traffic. 570 WWNC. Finalists Sport 2 Marconi Awards. 2025 Small Market Station of the Year. And Mark Starling is Small Market Personality of the Year.
Yacht Rock Radio on iHeartRadio drops anchor and goes commercial-free every weekend. Weekends were made for smooth sailing. Yacht Rock Radio's got the soundtrack. Just sit back, put your feet up, and enjoy. The smoothest soft rock from the 70s and 80s. Open the free iHeart app, search Yacht Rock, and set sail.
iHeartRadio. Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Clarissa sells WNC is the #1 team in Buncombe County. We have the customer service experience to assist you in achieving your real estate goals. Our team offers something that 90% of listings in our market won't have: Zillow Showcase. Check us out at clarissasellswnc.com.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our value of urgency: timely, responsive, focused, prioritizing you as our customer and the community that we serve to do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Ingalls Advantage isn't just about savings or the best quality food for your family. It's more than that. It's the advantage of being a part of a community. That's why we provide over 2 million pounds of food every year through regular donations and programs like the Ingalls Giving Tree, Food for Thought, and the Ingalls Fill a Backpack program. It's the right thing to do, and we know that you would do the same. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
ESPN Asheville, your mountain weather forecast.
Continuing with our shower chance, maybe even a thunderstorm as we get into the afternoon. I think as you go south, a little less of a chance of rain. 70 should do it. Tonight, we'll clear it rather nicely. Wake up tomorrow morning about 45, so maybe a light jacket. And sunny and pleasant for Tuesday afternoon, 75. By Wednesday, another chance of showers and afternoon thunderstorms, otherwise sun and clouds, upper 70s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Staging.
This report sponsored by the experts at Howard Hanna Beverly Hanks Real Estate, the real estate leader in Western North Carolina.
Howard Hanna Beverly Hanks Real Estate is not like other real estate companies. They're built differently. As the #1 family-owned real estate company in the U.S., proven expertise and personalized service delivers results. Let them show you how at Howard Hanna Beverly Hanks.
Why would you wait another day to handle your IRS issue? Stop procrastinating. It's only going to get worse. These guys are out for blood and will take your paycheck, money out your bank account. Man, they'll even take your freedom. The worst part, most people facing IRS collections didn't even know they had options. Here's the good news. If you owe back taxes, have on-file returns, or you're under audit, you may qualify for the programs that can reduce your debt, sometimes dramatically. And here's the reality. You don't have to wait. The longer you delay, the more aggressive the IRS can become. That's where Republic Tax Relief comes in. They deal with the IRS every single day, and they know how to stop collections fast. Republic Tax Relief is veteran-owned, experienced, and A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. And your first call, completely free. But don't wait. Every day matters. Call Republic Tax Relief now at 800-281-8559. That's 800-281-8559, or visit republictaxrelief.com.
Skip this. Tap that red talkback mic on the iHeartRadio app while listening to your favorite station.
You guys rock.
Instant feedback. And the best feature, if you mess up,
hopefully I'm sending these messages correctly.
Do it again. Leave a talkback now on the free iHeartRadio app.
I'm Coley Duffy.
I'm Cody Ward.
And
we're the Chainsaw Brothers.
Actually, we're cousins. A few days after Helene, we was in the driveway having a couple beers, waiting on the power to come back on. And we heard so many people calling, needing trees removed. and couldn't afford it.
So I called my dad to borrow a chainsaw, and over the next few months, we cleared trees for our neighbors. Our business was born out of wanting to help Western North Carolina get back on our feet.
We are fully insured and licensed. We keep our promises, meaning if we say we're going to be there, we'll be there. In these parts, we live how we were raised.
When you call the Chainsaw Brothers, you're not a customer, you're family. We're good at what we do, and we do it for a reasonable cost.
For all your chainsaw needs, call the Chainsaw Brothers. 828-316-1013. Or find us on Facebook. See how we treat our family.
Are you still covered up with storm damage and debris?
Call us about our daily rates at 828-316-1013. That's 828-316-1013. We're the Chainsaw Brothers, and with our neighbors, we are Western North Carolina strong.
Woohoo!
Selling your home? Don't settle for average. Our real estate team at Clarissa Sells WNC and eXp Realty offers Zillow Showcase, an exclusive AI-powered listing experience available to just the top 10% of all listings in our area. With immersive media, cutting-edge design, and elevated marketing, Showcase listings, they go pending quicker and sell for up to 9.
All right, we're back with the weird news in 10.
Stand out in a crowded market? Give our team a call today.
You can skip weird.
828-774-6343.
Just come back with a normal
because
rejoin.
Your home deserves the spotlight.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can of kick ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
And we're back.
Back in the Sportsocracy here on a Monday, hour 2, NFL Two-a-Days. We're talking Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is, for me, one of the most interesting teams in the league. We did have a comment in the YouTube chat of which quarterback gives more false hope every year, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, or Trevor Lawrence. I would say the most false hope would probably be Dak Prescott, but that would be, I can say that because Richmond wasn't quite back in his seat yet. Dallas Cowboy fan didn't hear me take the shot at Dak.
I just had this feeling as I'm walking closer to the door that something's going to be said about my love for the Dallas Cowboys and, of course, make fun of the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm used to it. It's okay.
And I mean, I'm not saying this because you're sitting here. I was the biggest detractor on the planet of Dallas last year. I'm probably the one that's the most over the top on the other side this year.
This year?
Because I think the defense is really good.
The defense is definitely better. Obviously, Caleb Downs joining the Cowboys is significant, and there's more pieces than just Caleb Downs. But knowing the Cowboys and just the history, and again, I've been following them my entire life. Some earliest memories, as I talked about college basketball, watching Michael Jordan hit the game-winning shot, ultimately the game-winning shot against Georgetown in 1982. And I can remember vividly the first time that I saw the star and fell in love with the Cowboys from that moment on. And so I've been riding on this roller coaster, so to speak, for a long time. And the Cowboys have been in the valley. And we're staying in the valley right now. And yes, we've had successful seasons, 12-5, 3 years in a row. I get all of that. But we're nothing more right now than just mediocre. Because we have some highs, we have some lows, and it just averages out. And that's why last year I was so disappointed with the Cowboys, not based on the season necessarily, but based on that it got to a point that I wanted the Cowboys to go 8-1. Because that is the epitome of the Dallas Cowboys, just in terms of how hard it is just to go 500 when you've got 17 games. And that would only be appropriate for the Cowboys to go 8-1. And they didn't do it. So, of course, they disappointed me again by going 7-10.
So I heard everything you just said.
Or 7-9-1, because they did tie.
I heard everything you just said. And I would love to feel sympathy for you.
Yeah, no, you don't. And there's also Dak Prescott.
Do you know why I don't?
Oh, tell me.
Do you know? I want you to take a guess at the last year that the Jets finished with more than 7 wins in a season. Lifelong Jet fan. Okay. When was the last time they won more than 7 games in a season?
I'm going to say 2008. It
was more recently than that.
Oh, okay.
2015.
2015. Okay.
We have been sub 500 10 years in a row.
Yeah, but it's almost, and I say this in a loving way.
It's almost our identity.
Yes. Isn't that what the Jets are?
Hey.
Because the Dallas Cowboys are a different brand, and there's no debating that. We do know the Cowboys are different than the Jets. From a marketing, from a branding perspective, again, the Cowboys are the most valued sports team in the entire world.
The Jets are 4. Well, 4 in the NFL.
In the NFL. I'm talking in the entire world for the Dallas Cowboys. And that's even over the past 30 years, they haven't had any playoff success. And so it just shows you the power of the Cowboys and everything associated with the Cowboys. And of course, they're able to lean on that through the NFL. But, and I'm saying in a joking way, just in terms of the Jets, it's almost like we expect the Jets to struggle.
The day is coming. The
day of reckoning.
The wind of change is blowing.
I get it.
We have a couple super chats in our YouTube comments. I apologize. I did not see them. Richmond and I are on set where
you.
I can't hear them. Usually there is a jet airplane noise that happens that scares the heebie-jeebers out of me and tells me when they happen. Apparently, I have that either turned down.
So you do have it turned down on your headphone, because I heard it and I didn't know what it was. I thought there was something going on in the building here.
That was our super chat noise. So if you hear that, let me know, because for some reason I cannot hear it.
Yes, I will let you know, because I did hear it twice.
Yep, there are 2 of them. Great North Sports, our resident Canadian, said Jeremy has a degree in NFL draftology.
Yes.
And being hurt by the New York Jets. That counts as relevant work experience. The Canadian is out the rest of the week, going to get married. Appreciate all the love and support. David, from all of us here, a massive congratulations.
Yes, big time.
Knowing your better half the way that I do. And Richmond can 100% attest to this, because we've had a lot of the same journeys around the sports world. I don't think there is anything more important to the success of somebody outside of knowing what you're talking about than the buy-in of your spouse.
Oh, big time.
Richmond's on the road as much as I am.
I don't know about that. You're definitely outpacing
I'm a
me.
lunatic.
You definitely are. Now, this summer, I will be hitting the road pretty heavily. I'm going to be doing a summer tour with Southern Conference, because the basketball podcast that I started last season, SoCon Fast Break, which covers just Southern Conference basketball. We're going to go visit with each head coach to every university. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and that'll be starting later in June.
I'm very excited for that road tour. I'm also scared that it's going to steal away the 2 of the people that make my life run, because they seem to enjoy working with you more than me. Megan and Christiana are helping him with the Fast Break road tour.
They're tremendous, too.
They are unbelievably important. I never realized how important until we found the right 2. It just so happened that we found them 4 days apart from each other, which...
It's very fortuitous.
That was, thank you for that kind manna from heaven. But they're doing great work for Richmond as well. But where I was headed with that is Brianna, the soon-to-be wife of David Smith. She believes in him so much, and I'm so happy they're finally tying the knot. I wish I could be there. I can't get into Canada because I don't have a passport.
Oh.
I've never done that.
How do you not have a passport?
I've only left the country once. And I didn't really plan on coming back. No, I'm kidding. I was on a cruise, so I didn't need a passport. I don't travel internationally. I always traveled domestically. I don't have a real ID either, which as much as I get on airplanes, that blows people's minds. I'm like, yeah, I'm that idiot that has to pay $30 every time I get on a plane now.
Why don't you just get a real ID?
Because I don't want to sit at the DMV. It's always some booger eater that I don't want to deal with. And so the last 3 times I've been to the DMV, the same exact thing has happened. Somebody sits down beside me, and I'm stuck here. Because I don't know if DMVs in South Carolina are like they are in North Carolina. This is an all day. Like, you must sandwich the whole day. And I always get somebody that winds up with a number right after me. And I learn way too much about their life in way too short a period of time. And I can't do it. And I can't renew it online, which let me do it online. I'll give you the money right now.
Well, you missed your opportunity to renew it online, and now I'm sounding like your parent. But that's how I did mine.
We couldn't do Real ID in North Carolina.
Oh, you couldn't? In South Carolina, we could.
It sounds like I need to change my address because I really do not want to set through that.
DMVs, I've lived in different states, and they're all the same.
North Carolina,
I can go ahead and tell you that,
is the only person I've seen with good DMV luck, Tank Spencer. He took a day off to go get his done. He waddled in the studio like 10:15. I'm all done. Got it all. Were you the first person there?
Exactly.
We have another super chat, and I apologize. We do not have super chat noises because I can't find where Tank put them on the board. It's from Gotham, who said at least the Bengals have the longest tenured coach in the division.
Ooh. That's a good point.
It's not hard to do.
No, it's not.
When all three of the teams in your division have new coaches, except for you.
That's right. Yeah.
But, as you look at the opponents for Cincinnati, this is how we've ended every two-a-day for each team, is you look at who they have on the schedule and how do you want it to start. So Cincinnati has, I'm going to be honest, the division is the division. You play that every year. So you get 2 with Baltimore, that ain't going to be fun. If you can win one of those 2, I think you're happy with that. You play Pittsburgh and Cleveland, I think they can win 3 of those 4. Do you disagree with anything I just said? So
3 of their 4.
Now, this is assuming that Burrow stays upright.
Yeah, exactly.
And the offensive line takes that step. Because with Risner and Fairchild, I do think we're there. Like, I think they have the 5 pieces in place. Connor Lew will ultimately be the starting center, I think. It'll probably take half a year for him to unseat Ted Karras. But with Orlando Brown, Dylan Fairchild, Karras or Lew, whichever way it goes, Risner and Amarius Mims, that is an offensive line that can keep Joe Burrow upright.
Yeah. I think there's so many question marks in the AFC North just overall. I mean,
Pittsburgh could be terrible.
Yes.
They could be terrible.
Baltimore, I would imagine, we think they're going to be the favorites.
Baltimore will improve by 3 games solely because John Harbaugh's not the coach there anymore.
Yeah, that is interesting. That
he runs players into the ground.
Yeah, he does, and so that's an intriguing concept that you're talking about. That you would actually have a 3-game improvement from a really good head coach with John Harbaugh. And you can say what you want to, but I do think the Ravens are. Well, they might be better run than the Pittsburgh Steelers in terms of an organizational standpoint. It's pretty close.
It's the best drafting team in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's a running joke every year when they come up on the clock of who are they about to steal from one of our teams that we have been praying is going to fall in our lap, because they do it every year. I don't see any – we did Baltimore at the end of last week. I don't see any way that Baltimore wins less than 10 games. That's a playoff.
That's why I do think they're going to win the AFC North. So
I don't know that I agree
you're going
with that.
Bengals here.
I'm not ready to say that yet. I was I thought Baltimore was going to win the Super Bowl last year. And that team was just nowhere close to what I thought they were.
Yeah. Well, they also had some injuries too.
Sure. And I think Harbaugh's message had gotten stale. People hear me say these things, and they just assume I really don't like John Harbaugh. It's not that. I think the message had gotten stale because he'd been there too long.
That's right. Yeah.
I also think
change the scenery.
I mean, and it's the Harbaughs are notorious for they run players into the ground, and that team last year was just not that deep. And so when you practice that way, and then he had the issues with Lamar, I think what you see out of Jesse Minter will be an improvement. I think this team will be a playoff team, and they'll be a team you don't want to see. I think if we're talking high side, I think I like the Bengals high side better. If everything works out. And I'll tell you why. We went through the Ravens schedule. It's not super daunting. You know what they don't have? This is who the Bengals play on the road. I'm not sure you could have written this better. They do play the Houston Texans. They obviously play the 3 within the division.
That's right.
They play the Dolphins, the Colts, the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Commanders.
Exactly.
I think the Commanders are going to be really good. I think the Panthers are the best team in the NFC South. That notwithstanding, how do any of them stop Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
They're not.
That's the point.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Cincinnati going,
that's with Joe Burrow, though.
On the absolute worst this goes, they go 5-4 on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's worst case scenario because I'll be honest with you, they could let the Dolphins play 14 players, and I don't think I would like them to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I'd say the same thing about the Colts. I'd say the same thing about the Falcons. If you can split the Panthers and Washington, win one of those two, and then win one in the division, that's 5-4. That's if you. I mean, and all you got to do is beat Cleveland. You don't even have to beat Pittsburgh on the road.
Yeah,
just beat Cleveland. You're 5-4 on the road. Then you come back home. Obviously, get 3 in the division. Then you play the Buccaneers, the Jaguars, the Titans, the Saints, and the Chiefs. Is it out of it? Let's say they got Kansas City early, and Mahomes is not back yet.
Yeah,
they go 8-0 at home. Wouldn't shock me in the least. Because I think Jacksonville is about to fall off a cliff.
Oh, I don't think so.
You can't draft that poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, they were taking guys. I literally had 500 guys on my board. Jacksonville took 3 that I didn't have rated. You just can't do it. Yeah. It's gonna bite you.
Yeah, but I don't know if it'll be immediate this year.
Who runs?
Yeah, that is a big question mark, and that's a tough loss, in my opinion.
That was Trevor's guy.
Yes, of course.
People undervalue that all the time. When a quarterback has a real trust in a running back, that is a special relationship. Because you're trusting that guy to be your last line of defense.
Oh, of course. So when you say falling off, what do you mean for Jacksonville?
I don't think Jacksonville makes the playoffs in 2026. And I'll show my work on it. I think the Houston Texans are the best team in that division. I don't even think it's close.
Yeah.
I think you probably get 3 out of the AFC West. Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs is a big question mark.
And I'll tell you why I don't. The more I look at Kansas City, it all depends on Mahomes. And I keep teasing this, and I can't tell you how I know it, but I know Pat Mahomes will be guns blazing week 1. I don't know how. I don't know if they fed him the blood of a vampire. I don't know.
Some type of bioinductive implant.
They put him in a hyperbaric chamber. I have absolutely no idea, but he will be on the field week 1, and I have no doubt of that. The defense is way better. They lost Trent McDuffie. They got real cheap because Mansour Delane, closest call, Trent McDuffie. And I think that defense is young. It is way faster. And now you've got a legit – because they drafted Peter Woods at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at that team going, oh, I don't want to mess with that. So then I come back to the AFC North. I would take Cincinnati and Baltimore to make the playoffs. And then I still got Buffalo and New England.
Yeah.
That's 8 before I even considered Jacksonville because I don't think they're in the league of any team I just said. Now, if they were in the NFC, sure, you can slide in as the 7. I don't necessarily think it's going to go your way. But I keep looking at these schedules. Every time we pull up a team in the AFC that is a legit contender to me, and I think the Cincinnati Bengals are a legit contender, they're going to beat Jacksonville in Cincinnati. I feel real sure of that. I think Tampa Bay falls off the world. New Orleans, I could see them losing that game. I just think it's too early to expect Tyler Shough to go on the road and beat somebody like Joe Burrow. Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. That's 6 wins at home. And I'll be honest with you, I don't see any way that doesn't happen. And I'm not telling you they can't win the other 2.
Yeah, I just cannot see Cincinnati Bengals going 8-0 at home. That's not the NFL. We just don't see that.
No, a lot of teams go 7-1, 6-2, more than. I mean, the stat we had the other day was if you take all 32 teams in the league, there were 10 that finished 500 or worse at home.
Yeah,
you win a lot of games at home, and I think Cincinnati has a lot of winnable games at home.
Yeah, they do have a lot of winnable games, but 8.
No, I would take Cincinnati to go 6-2 at home, 5-4 on the road. That's 11-6.
So that's 11 wins. Yeah.
That's 11-6, and you're in the playoffs. You're not just in it; you're in it comfortably, because the AFC is going to kill each other.
Yeah, no, the AFC is definitely head and shoulders above the NFC.
The AFC's there's such a division, because like Tennessee, I like where Tennessee is. I love where they're trending.
They're not ready though.
They're going to go 4-13.
Yeah, they're not ready.
I mean, even as much as I like them, I love Bob Saleh.
Mm-hmm.
That team's going 4-13 or 5-12. Just because I can't find the wins. You have to play all those teams in the division. If Indianapolis is even competent at quarterback, you're probably going 1-5 in the division. You might sneak one out against them, but you're probably going to lose to Jacksonville twice. You're probably going to lose to Houston twice. I'll take the probably out. You're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to lose to Houston twice. Your offensive line's not good enough. So, I mean, just as when I see a team like Cincinnati that has the talent, they have the quarterback. I don't love your coach, but you've got the ancillary pieces. That feels like a playoff team to me. Now, how do I want to start the schedule? I'll be honest with you. If I'm Cincinnati, I'm praying for Kansas City week 1.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm praying for Kansas City week 1.
Yeah, got to get them early.
Let me even if I'm right and Mahomes is on the field, there's going to be a ton of ring rust because there will not have been many reps where he's playing live action. So that's going to be the first time he gets hit.
Yeah, no question.
That's where I want to start. I want to start Kansas City. That's a home game. And then I want to catch one of those lesser thans. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Miami, Indianapolis, Atlanta. I want to catch them on the road in week 2.
Have we seen in the NFL, and you'll know this better than me in terms of schedule, how quickly teams play within their division? Is it the second game of the season?
They can be on the schedule. They don't like to start in division. You can play a division game week 1. We usually have.
No, that's what I'm saying. But would we see where they play non-division games for the first 2? Like, is it typical that?
Oh, that's very doable.
Okay.
I mean, we have a team every year that winds up. The Jets did a few years ago. They didn't play a division game until like week 11.
Oh, wow.
So 5 of the last 7 games were against the division, which, by the way, I'm going to get this one out of the way. There is no team in the NFL that I want to see do that. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, that's too much. I do think that's too much.
I hate that they do it.
Yeah, and I've seen, of course, we saw it here with the Panthers in terms of playing in their division, 2 out of 3 weeks.
There should be a stipulation that you have to play.
Team.
You have to play half of your division games in the first half of the schedule. You have to play half in the second half.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I understand logistically that would not be easy, but I think it can be done. We got one more hour here in the Sportsocracy. I like the Cincinnati Bengals seemingly more than Mr. Richmond Weaver.
Yes, you do.
We'll see how he feels about the New Orleans Saints. Hour 3 on a Monday. He's Richmond Weaver. I'm Jeremy Green. This is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Radio, Asheville.
ESPN.
All right. Perfect.
Thank you, buddy.
I'm going to combine these breaks, and then I'll see you again at the top of the hour.
Sounds good. What's the rejoiner time?
Get into the afternoon. I think as you go.
At about 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay. Sounds good.
45. So maybe a light jacket and sunny and pleasant for Tuesday afternoon. 75. By Wednesday, another chance of showers and afternoon thunderstorms, otherwise sun and clouds, upper 70s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Staging.
This report is sponsored by RenewalByAnderson.com.
Is your home ready for the heat? Now's the time to upgrade with Renewal by Anderson. Save $300 per window and $825 per door, plus 5% off your full order. Enjoy a cooler, more comfortable home and lower energy costs. Don't wait. Visit RenewalByAnderson.com.
News Radio 570 WWNC, now on FM. Yeah, we're now on AM and FM. It's too much news for one band. News Radio 570 WWNC, now on 92.9 FM.
Voters are listening to the radio, tons of them. If you're running for office, radio is where people are actually tuned in, not swiping past ads. Connect with communities everywhere and get on the air in just 48 hours. Visit winwithiheart.com. That's winwithiheart.com.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our value of urgency, timely, responsive, focused, prioritizing you as our customer and the community that we serve to do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Why would you wait another day to handle your IRS issue? Stop procrastinating. It's only going to get worse. These guys are out for blood and will take your paycheck, money out your bank account. Man, they'll even take your freedom. The worst part, most people facing IRS collections didn't even know they had options. Here's the good news. If you owe back back taxes, have on-file returns, or you're under audit, you may qualify for the programs that can reduce your debt, sometimes dramatically. And here's the reality. You don't have to wait. The longer you delay, the more aggressive the IRS can become. That's where Republic Tax Relief comes in. They deal with the IRS every single day, and they know how to stop collections fast. Republic Tax Relief is veteran-owned, experienced, and A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. And your first call, completely free. But don't wait. Every day matters. Call Republic Tax Relief now at 800-281-8559. That's 800-281-8559, or visit republictaxrelief.com.
I'm David.
And I'm Christina.
And this is our Ingalls story.
Ginger's Revenge is a brewery located in Asheville, North Carolina that specializes in the production of hard ginger beer.
So we use all natural, whole ingredients, and I think that really sets us apart.
Ingalls is an amazing partner for us to work with. A lot of our fans know that they can go to Ingalls and find a lot of the flavors that we have available, and they just make it really easy for folks to purchase local products.
Sure, you know Appalachian Motor Coach is the official shuttle sponsor of the Living the Dream Tailgate Tour. But did you know that they can get you anywhere in style? Weddings, bachelor or bachelorette parties, corporate gatherings, family reunions, Appalachian Motor Coach makes the ride part of the fun. Luxury seating, climate control, and none of the stress of parking or driving. Appalachian Motor Coach gets you there relaxed, on time, and ready for the party. For more information, visit them at AppalachianMotorCoach.com. Appalachian Motor Coach, the best memories start on the ride.
Clarissa sells WNC as the #1 team in Buncombe County. We have the customer service experience to assist you in achieving your real estate goals. Our team offers something that 90% of listings in our market won't have: Zillow Showcase. Check us out at clarissasellswnc.com.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Champions don't disappear. They reload. And the 2026 Atlanta Braves are ready.
Chopping toward another playoff run. The Mountains home for Braves baseball, ESPN Asheville. Brought to you by Parks Ford of Hendersonville.
Some kids never smile. They're embarrassed by their crooked teeth. They want braces like the other kids, but their families can't afford them. Some may even try to straighten their teeth themselves. That can make everything worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. It helps provide orthodontic treatment to kids and teens whose families can't afford it. For kids who apply, are approved, and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, it can be life-changing. Their treatment is in the hands of an expert, a licensed local orthodontic specialist.
We're back with the intro in 30 seconds.
Aligning teeth and jaws.
Stand for it.
Some kids think they'll never smile again, but Donated Orthodontic Services may help them smile with confidence. To link to the application and eligibility requirements, visit aaoinfo.org.
ESPN Asheville.
Yeah.
WPEK Fairview. WMXF Waynesville. An iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human. Live from the Ingalls studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dogs eat! Let them on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
Your mic is on now.
Hour 3 on a Monday. I'm Jeremy Green. He's Richmond Weaver, filling in for Cantankerous Spencer, who will be back tomorrow as we welcome AEW Tag Team Champions, Dax and Cash.
Oh, okay.
Were you ever a pro wrestling guy?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like every guy was at some point in their life.
Yes. And I'm trying to remember why I got out of it. I guess maybe later in high school, I was so much more focused on basketball. But, yeah, I mean, there was a period of time. Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes.
American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's hard times, Daddy.
Mr. Wrestling, 1 and 2, the Road Warriors.
So we're AEW Dynamite is at the Civic Center. Or at Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville.
Yes.
Sorry, I can't use its old name. Wednesday, and we're doing a team building of the entire team is going. So Megan, who was absolutely dreading this until she found out Adam Copeland looks strikingly like her husband.
Oh, okay.
Christiana has been just had her hair on fire since we told her we were going. Tank and I, we're dressing up. We don't know how yet, but we're doing something.
Oh, I got to see this.
$1 Million Man.
Oh, there we go.
That was my favorite wrestler growing up.
Okay.
I loved Ted DiBiase.
Yes. Now, were you a Roddy Piper guy?
I was. Okay. I liked him.
See, and I was never a big Hulk Hogan guy.
I wasn't either. And then I just watched his documentary, and I started seeing weird similarities with myself of, a lot of things hurt when I try to work out too. I should probably look into that. I should probably start eating less bread, less beer, and more cucumber with tzatziki sauce like I just had in the break. Felt like cannibalism. It was delicious, but there's cucumber in tzatziki.
That's right.
You shouldn't dip something that is what the dip is. It doesn't feel natural. What also doesn't feel quite natural is the New Orleans Saints are going to have money in a year. That has not been the case in forever.
Yeah, and are they also going to have optimism this year? Because I don't know if you've had optimism in New Orleans in several years.
The thing about New Orleans is I really like where this team's headed. What I can't figure out, is it this year or is this the year, and you see this with rebuilding teams a lot, where it doesn't necessarily reflect in wins and losses, but they become that super annoying team that no one wants to play.
Yeah. I think they were somewhat that way at the end of the season last year.
They won 4 of their last 5.
Yeah.
And the only one they lost was in the final week to the Falcons, who needed that win to have any shot at the playoffs. The Saints were already out. You almost can't even hold that one against them. I mean, at the end of the year, this team was good. I mean, they beat the Jets silly sideways. Obviously know that one because I watched every down of it and went, if I was a Saints fan, I would feel pretty good about the youth that this team has. I don't know how you felt about Tyler Shough coming into last year.
Not confident.
Shough had one of the weirdest trips around the world I think that I've ever seen. Because he played as a freshman. And I loved him. And I said, this kid's going to be there were 2 guys at the same time, and I said, they're never going to end up in the same class, and of course they did. They played as freshmen. They wound up transferring, and I said both were going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. It was Tyler Shough and Jackson Dart. Mm-hmm. When I watched them at 18 years old, which for Tyler Shough, that was like 11 years ago, I said those 2 have it. Whatever it is that you're looking for in a quarterback, those 2 have it. Shough battles a just litany of injuries. He played in college for a really long time. He will go down as the last player born in the 90s, drafted in the NFL.
Wow.
He'll be the last one. Unless there's some 29-year-old dude out there somewhere that's planning on entering the 27 draft, which I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to assume that.
Hey, like we said, though, if there's somebody out there, the NFL will find them.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles drafted a guy that's never played professional football. He's never played organized football before. And he's also not of this earth.
Yeah, he's a big individual.
Which is funny because he's, 306?
Yeah.
He looks like he weighs about 240. And he moves like he weighs about 240.
That's right, he does.
I detest. The number one thing I hate the most about NIL, transfer portal, is that we stop making guys sit out, and now we make it way too easy for them to transfer. So you get guys like Tyler Shough. Now, the opportunity was bouncing around. He wound up with a medical redshirt year. Teams weren't expecting him to come back. But it makes it so hard as an evaluator to look at a kid that's 25 or 26 years old playing against 19-year-old kids.
Of course.
Because this is not apples to oranges, what I'm asking you to do in the NFL. You don't have the doughy 19-year-old. That especially defensive linemen, offensive linemen, those are the worst. Because you're going up against guys that are that is a man body.
Yes.
And you're going up against a kid that's 19 years old. That doesn't tell me anything. Tyler Shough was one that I went all the way back to the Oregon tape and just loved the kid. Then I met him, loved him in person. Thought he was one of my favorite players in last year's draft class because he was so organic. Like everything about him, it felt like he relished every second of the moment. Because he didn't know that he was ever going to get here.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you get hurt 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid had 4 season-ending injuries in college. He didn't know that day was ever coming. He also didn't know where he was going to get drafted because his range of outcomes was wild. Saints take him, face of the franchise, no doubt. The Spencer Rattler thing, that was cute. Do you remember that argument that people had with me? Did that go well? I didn't think so. Because Tyler Shough is just that guy. And I look at him now. The team around him is not done. That is what bothers me. I think adding Travis Etienne, and no, I'm not calling him Travis H-N. If you want to be H-N, spell your name that way. That is not what that word is. Adding that with Kamara and even the lower level guys, Kendre Miller, Devin Neal, I think this team is going to be able to run the ball really well. And, I mean, we all know that's a young quarterback's best friend.
Of course. You got to have that.
The question then to me becomes, how good of a passing offense is this going to be? You added Jordan Tyson.
Mm-hmm. That was a good selection.
That one has been debated a lot. I don't have his medical, and I can't say I love it, just solely because I know enough people that saw it, and it scared the bejeebers out of them.
Yeah. But that's the NFL. They're going to try to have anything possible that would help them rationalize why they don't take somebody or why they don't pan out. They want to have a fallback. That's just what I've seen from the NFL. But the upside is far greater than I think the downside for Jordan Tyson.
The thing with Tyson is that I almost had to evaluate him as 2 players. Because if the injuries do start to limit him, that worries me. New Orleans took him at 8. So, I mean, they passed him with – they didn't just pass him. They passed him with flying colors.
Yeah.
You don't take a medical red flag in the top 10.
Not even close.
So, I like the kid, and I actually really like the compliment. I look at that receiver room now. We've always known Olave, if he can stay healthy, is a premier deep threat. I mean, I think Chris Olave can be
what you saw, what he did at Ohio State.
Well, I mean, you even look at last year with Shough.
Yeah.
I'm just going, without looking, how many guys do you think had more receptions than Chris Olave last year? You'd think it'd have to be 15 or 20 guys, right?
Yeah, overall in the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It was 6. He was 7.
Yeah. See,
he was 8th in yards.
That's surprising.
It was surprising to me. And I knew he had good games, especially towards the end of the year. I mean, I remember him in the fantasy playoffs. He was like a cheat code. Because those last 2 weeks, he just obliterated the Jets, and he obliterated the Titans. I think he's a legit big boy number 1.
Mm-hmm.
He's also he had one of the funniest years I've ever seen because he technically only had 3 100-yard games, but he finished less than the distance from me to you from 2 more. I think Tyson can be a legit 2. Where I gristled was I was afraid he was going to be asked to be a 1.
No.
I liked him with the Giants, and I like him with the Saints. They can even go down the list a little bit. I like Devin Vele. He's a big slot. Basically a tight end that plays slot receiver. Yeah. Him and Rondé Gadsden. You're designated 2 completely different ways. You are very similar players. And now I feel pretty good about that. You don't have a ton behind them, but, I mean, you got a lot of darts. Bryce Lance, big kid, Trey's brother from North Dakota State, that can fly. I don't know that he can play wide receiver. Just not a ton of tape on him, not a lot of production, but there's not many guys that are 6'5" that can run that fast.
Yeah.
Bub Means, it's the one that they took 2 years ago. He's not the biggest guy, but he runs violently with the ball in his hand. Jalen Polk, second-round pick of the New England Patriots. Kevin Austin was a guy that I still have scouts tell me, he's going to hit one day. It's always fun when you have to figure out, when are we tapping out on that?
That's right.
They drafted Barry and Brown. They still have Trey Palmer that played with the Buccaneers. It feels to me like New Orleans is going into this offseason, into this summer program, into OTAs. And they're just saying, you know what? We know we have 5 receivers in this room. Don't know exactly where they're going. I don't know which ones. Where's the cream going to rise to the top? I have no idea. But we're going to find 5 guys. Feel great about Olave. Feel really good about Tyson. Feel pretty good about Vele. I know Bryce Lance will be on the team. I'm not sure who else is going to show themselves and make this roster, but you're going to have earned it. This might be the toughest 5th and 6th spot on a roster in the NFL. I mean, because legitimately, I could see the Saints keeping 9 receivers. They're not going to, but it would make sense because there are 9 guys that deserve to be on an NFL roster there. Then we get to the tight end, which I have argued this. My good golly, Miss Molly, I have argued this a lot. I don't see it with Oscar Delp.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
I don't know why. Yeah. He, to me, strikes me as the highlight player that people get really lost on the good. I believe Kirby Smart and that Georgia offense know how to use tight ends.
Yeah. Look what they've done.
Yeah. Brock Bowers was awful good at football. Oscar Delp was supposed to be that, and he never was. So, you know what? I'm officially to the point with Saints fans. I hope you're right. I hope a year from now you can point at me and go, na boo-boo, I tried to tell you. I think that's going to be the phrase. I just think it's going to be the finger's going to be pointing that way. But I like Jawan Johnson. I like Noah Fant. I think
like
you have
Fant a lot.
Fant has always been one of those guys that I don't understand. And I'm not going to lie. There's part of me that thinks New Orleans is guilty of the same thing that I'm going to say here. I always feel like he's been miscast because he needs to be that move piece. He needs somebody on the opposite side that can just really block. And he never has that. It's always him and Evan Ingram or him and the slew of guys that were in Seattle. None of them are good blockers. So you ask him to play in line, which is not what he does.
Yeah, that's not his skill set.
And I'm afraid that that's what New Orleans is going to do too. But I again say the same thing I just said with the receivers. They got so many of them. I got a whole camp to figure this out.
Yeah, well, that's what it seems like the general manager, Mickey Loomis, I think he had that foresight at least, once Derek Carr retired, and then start the rebuilding process at that point. And then you identify Tyler Shough as your guy, and then can you put the pieces together around him? And you talk about it from a wide receiver standpoint, have that type of depth, have your tight ends, but then more importantly, you have that running game. And so that was a big pickup to go out and get Travis Achan. I'm going to say Achan. He's a Clemson guy.
I mean, you can say his name that way. That's not what that.
Now, I call him E.T. That's what I called him. And it's hard for me to say Achan also. But
it irks me when guys tell me 6 years later, hey, this is not how you say my name. Then why did you not say it that way when the NFL asked you that? Because, see, we get a pronunciation guide that it came straight out of your mouth. And I've called you Travis Etienne now for 10 years.
Yeah, but isn't that also – that's just indicative of how things go in life, that it starts building and it just continues, and it's almost harder to stop it than – it's harder to stop it than just let it keep going.
Guys do it at the Combine every year.
No, not to that degree.
Every year, guys go, nope, this is my name. This is how you say my name. Some of them are wild. Vega Ioane, good Lord have mercy. I heard his name pronounced 58 different ways, and then he finally came to the combine and went, Ioane.
Yeah.
Great. Ihanachor. I heard that one butchered. He said it at the combine. It's Ihanachor. And I went, I'm not going to get that right for a while. So I'm sorry. I will do my best.
Yeah, gone are the days of Jones and Smith and Williams.
It's so because the game is so global.
Oh, it is global. Yeah.
I mean, you're getting guys from that IPP program.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great thing. You look at Philadelphia. They've been the kings of this because they have found talent everywhere.
Yeah. But I would agree with you that, okay, at least from the communications people for these teams, and I say this each basketball season, do me one favor. Make sure you have a pronunciation guide.
Ask him his name.
Oh, and that's what there's routinely when I'm calling a game as the color analyst, I'll get there and make sure I go up to the player and say, how do you want me to pronounce your name?
This was 2 years ago. Obatamawe Adebaware.
Okay.
He looked me in my face and said, do you know no media guy has ever asked me how to say my name?
Yeah, see,
How? It's 48 letters long.
Yeah.
I don't want to butcher your name.
Yeah, because even the pronunciation guide doesn't do it justice on some of these names. And that's why they do have a service where when you go to the website of a particular team and you can select the roster, and then beside each name has this little symbol, looks like an ear.
Yep, and you can hear it.
And and a lot of times now they'll have it where they record the person saying their name, so you hear it directly from that individual. And I'm still bothered why not every sports team, organization, they should subscribe to that service. And so they have it right there.
Because it makes us look like morons when we don't know how to pronounce the guy's name.
Of course.
We may have just seen his name for the first time when we sat down.
Bingo.
I know that's happened to me. I feel pretty sure it's happened to you.
Oh, you better believe it. Yes.
You sit down to do a game in some shape, form, or fashion, and I don't know who this kid is. And then you expect me to sound this out? Do you hear how I talk? I could barely pronounce my own name.
Greeny.
Jeremy Greeny. That's what I make that joke a lot of. I'm going to start telling people they pronounce my name wrong.
Oh, I wish you would.
The one thing I will say with New Orleans, that we got to take a commercial break. We'll get to the defense. They invested in the line.
Yeah. Again, I think Mickey Loomis has done a good job of understanding how they're going to go about this rebuild.
He painted himself into such a corner at the end of the Peyton era because they were so killed.
Yeah.
I mean, they were so killed. They had void years that were 2 and 3 years out. They were dead against the cap. And to look at this offense where it is now, if you'd have told me 3 years ago this is what this offense would look like, I would have said you were out of your mind. Because there was no way. You're not going to be able to get anybody to take your money because every agent is going to look at this and go, they are killed. And you found a way to have one of the best young left tackles in the game, easy for me to say, in Kelvin Banks Jr., the kid they got out of Texas last year. Talizi Fawaga, who they got 2 years ago. That might be the best couple of young tackles in the league. The only one that I can even think that compares to it, and I would take New Orleans over it, is Olafashinu and Armin Mimbu with the Jets. I cannot think of another pair of 25 or younger tackles like that for a young quarterback that you're all the way in on.
Exactly.
And you gave him a running back.
You got to have it.
And he's got a legit number one. And you drafted a weapon. Andreas Pinckney, who's a big Saints fan in the YouTube chat, said, get more firepower, stop the run. That was the plan for this offseason.
There you go.
It's perfect.
That's it. And that's why we complicate things too much.
No doubt.
It comes down to the basics.
No doubt.
And right there, that is the perfect way to state it.
He also followed it up with, I think Delp will be the future replacement for Juwan, who's going to be 30 this year. I agree with that.
Yeah.
This is one of many reasons that I love Andreas Pinckney. He knows his team, and he's very realistic about his team. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
That does.
Trying to tell me that Oscar Delp is going to be some great blocking tight end does not make any sense to me because it is not on the tape anywhere. But he also said, remember this name, Maliki Matauvau. I'm sure I butchered that. He's the rookie tight end they drafted last year, can legit block. That is not the first time I've heard that. I don't know how they're going to keep 4. I really honestly don't. Which makes me wonder if Noah Fant doesn't make this team.
Yeah, maybe
Which
not.
is entirely possible.
Yeah.
But I have heard that, that's I think the third or fourth time I've heard that name. It's a kid out of UCLA. Oddly enough, one of my podcast partners, Logan Paulson, also a tight end out of UCLA. I'll give you one guess where one of the places I heard that name was. It was from him repeatedly. I'm really intrigued by the Saints offense.
Well, and especially, I want to see how Kellen Moore is going to be.
I like him as a play caller.
Yeah, continuing his experience.
They also gave him, and this sounds so simple, but teams don't do it. And I guess I'm sensitive to it because the Jets don't do it, ever. They told him, this is not going to be good for a year. You go find your guy.
Yes.
You build this team the right way. We believe in you. Go build the team. We don't care about wins and losses for at least 1 year, maybe 2. That's how you take a struggling franchise that was in cap hell.
Agreed.
And get them back on the right track. I think the offense is on the right track. Now, the question is the defense. And I'm not sure what to do with that. Tay in our YouTube chat, real quick on the way out, asked, do you think the Saints have the best offense in the NFC South on paper? I would definitely take it over Atlanta because I like your quarterback way better. I would take it over Carolina because I don't like their running backs. I think they do because I don't like Tampa Bay. I can't stand Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is the Sasquatch of the NFL. People fall for this every single year, and I will never figure out why.
Now, Baker has improved his stock in terms of popularity and.
Oh yeah, people like him because.
And he's had success.
Oh, we've never done this, have we? Baker Mayfield is popular because he runs his mouth as a little feller. And people go, look at him. He's got moxie.
That was early Baker, in my opinion.
He's the worst in the league. I specifically remember last year, and I cannot remember. It was somebody in the division. He was jawing at a defensive lineman that I believe could have separated his head from his shoulders without even trying all that hard.
Trash talking is part of it.
And he's hiding behind Cody Mauch and Graham Barton.
That's what you do.
Let him go. Just let him go one time. I promise you that'll stop forever. Let him get popped in the face one real good time. Because he is – I've had multiple guys in the league tell me that dude is the single most annoying player we've ever played against. Because he never shuts up.
Yeah.
He never stops.
I get that. But going back to the question, I say it's between the Panthers and the Saints on paper.
I tend to agree. I think my order would be the Saints, the Panthers, the Bucks, and then the Falcons. I think that is the best. I'll be honest
Falcons,
with you.
I mean, you've got Robinson there. They've got a hell of a running game.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to run. The problem is that you got two quarterbacks that are.
Yeah.
I mean, if you combined the bones in their body, I think you might have one living, breathing person between Michael Penix and Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they're at a loss at quarterback spot in Atlanta.
You have the two left-handed quarterbacks. The only two left-handed quarterbacks left in the league. You have them both, and neither one of them is any good. I honestly would. Before I read that question, I don't think I would have gotten there just off the top of my head. But after I thought about it, it became pretty obvious. I mean, it's like you said, it's the Saints and the Panthers.
Yeah.
Just depends on which quarterback you like better.
That's right.
Bryce is a little more experienced in the league. Mm-hmm. I think Shough has a higher high side. But I would take Olave over Tet. I would take Tyson over Coker. And I think I like three of the running backs in New Orleans better than I like anybody the Panthers have. I would not have thought that. That is wild. Tay, we appreciate the question. After this commercial break, we're going to talk about the defense and the schedule. How do we want things to unfold for the New Orleans Saints on Thursday for this to be the best season humanly possible? I'm Jeremy Green. Find me on Twitter at the NFL Draft Nerd. He's Richmond Weaver. You can find him everywhere at
Richmond Weaver on Twitter.
I was about to say he got something I didn't get. I can't be me because somebody has that. He's Richmond Weaver. I'm Jeremy Green. We'll be back. Sportsocracy right after this.
You're clear.
Yep, we're going to have to do that thing again where we combine breaks. I swear I'm not doing that on purpose.
Coin. That's coin.
All right, sounds good. You want to combine these this break and the next one?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
I apologize, dude. This whole studio is backwards from what I'm used to, and I'm not even thinking about the clock.
Gotcha. That'll be about 6 minutes and 30 seconds from now then.
10-4. Thank you, bud.
Orangepeel.net. Don't miss Toadies Live, May 13th. See you at the Peel.
Hello, I'm Robert Smigel. I did lots of things. Cartoons on SNL, Conan stuff, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, some movies. But now I'm past my peak. So I'm hosting a podcast, Humor Me with Robert Smigel and Friends. Each week, me and my favorite comedians, writers, and whatnots help regular people just like you, presuming you're regular, who have some project or task that they'd like us to help make funnier.
Search Humor Me on iHeartRadio, America's #1 podcast network, and the Webby Podcast Company of the Year.
I'm Coley Duffy.
I'm Cody Ward.
And
we're the Chainsaw Brothers.
Actually, we're cousins. A few days after Lean, we was in the driveway having a couple beers, waiting on the power to come back on. And we heard so many people calling, needing trees removed, and couldn't afford it.
So I called my dad to borrow a chainsaw, and over the next few months, we cleared trees for our neighbors. Our business was born out of wanting to help Western North Carolina get back on our feet.
We are fully insured and licensed. We keep our promises, meaning if we say we're going to be there, we'll be there. In these parts, we live how we were raised.
When you call the Chainsaw Brothers, you're not a customer, you're family. We're good at what we do, and we do it for a reasonable cost.
For all your chainsaw needs, call the Chainsaw Brothers. 828-316-1013. Or find us on Facebook. See how we treat our family.
Are you still covered up with storm damage and debris?
Call us about our daily rates at 828-316-1013. That's 828-316-1013. We're the Chainsaw Brothers, and with our neighbors, we are Western North Carolina strong. Woohoo!
When you're a grocery store, hunger has no place in your community. That's why at Ingles, we donate over 2 million pounds of food every year to those who need it. It's the right thing to do, and we know you'd do the same. Ingles, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Selling your home? Don't settle for average. Our real estate team at Clarissa Sells WNC and eXp Realty offers Zillow Showcase, an exclusive AI-powered listing experience available to just the top 10% of all listings in our area. With immersive media, cutting-edge design, and elevated marketing, Showcase listings, they go pending quicker and sell for up to $9,000 more than standard listings. Ready to stand out in a crowded market? Give our team a call today, 828-774-6343, because your home deserves the spotlight.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our value of urgency, timely, responsive, focused, prioritizing you as our customer and the community that we serve to do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
ESPN Asheville, your mountain weather forecast.
Continuing with our shower chance, maybe even a thunderstorm as we get into the afternoon. I think as you go south, a little less of a chance of rain. 70 should do it tonight. We'll clear it rather nicely. Wake up tomorrow morning about 45, so maybe a light jacket. And sunny and pleasant for Tuesday afternoon, 75. By Wednesday, another chance of showers and afternoon thunderstorms, otherwise sun and clouds, upper 70s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Staging.
This report is sponsored by iHeartAdvertising.com.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago.
And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
Spring cleaning meets hosting season with Zero Res. Get carpets cleaned for just $35 per room. And stairs are now only $35 too. Plus, take $50 off air duct cleaning. Book now at ZeroResAsheville.com and get guest ready today.
I need a little ranch, step to the ranch, come on, meet me at the
Introducing the new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club Sandwich. With that juicy Chick-fil-A chicken on a buttermilk ranch bun, jalapeno ranch sauce, and pickled jalapenos, it's a little ranch with a lot of kick. The new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club with original spicy or grilled filet. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Champions don't disappear. They reload. And the 2026 Atlanta Braves are ready.
Chopping toward another playoff run. The Mountains home for Braves baseball, ESPN Asheville. Brought to you by Parks Ford of Hendersonville.
That red talkback mic on the free iHeart app, it's more powerful than it looks. One tap can get you in the conversation.
You guys, are you serious?
Enter to win something amazing.
That $1,000.
Or just a request.
What up?
Try it now. Just open the free iHeart Radio app.
Selling your home? Don't settle for average. Our real estate team at Clarissa Sells WNC and eXp Realty offers Zillow Showcase, an exclusive AI-powered listing experience available to just the top 10% of all listings in our area. With immersive media, cutting-edge design, and elevated marketing, Showcase listings, they go pending quicker and sell for up to $9,000 more than standard listings. Ready to stand out in a crowded market? Give our team a call today, 828-774-6343, because your home deserves the spotlight.
I'm Coley Duffy.
I'm Cody Ward.
And
we're the Chainsaw Brothers.
Actually, we're cousins. A few days after Helene, we was in the driveway having a couple beers, waiting on the power to come back on. And we heard so many people calling, needing trees removed, and couldn't afford it.
So I called my dad to borrow a chainsaw, and over the next few months, we cleared trees for our neighbors. Our business was born out of wanting to help Western North Carolina get back on our feet.
We are fully insured and licensed. We keep our promises, meaning if we say we're going to be there, we'll be there. In these parts, we live how we were raised.
When you call the Chainsaw Brothers, you're not a customer, you're family. We're good at what we do, and we do it for a reasonable cost.
For all your chainsaw needs, call the Chainsaw Brothers. 828-316-1013. Or find us on Facebook.
All right, coming back in 10.
Up with storm damage and debris?
Call us about our daily rates at 828-316-1013. That's 828-316-1013. We're the Chainsaw Brothers, and with our neighbors, we are Western North Carolina strong.
Woohoo!
The Sportsocracy.
We're just dumping a bag of hammers.
And we're back.
This would usually be where we don't do crimes, but with no tank, there are no crimes. You can read into that what you want to. I'm Jeremy Green. He's Richmond Weaver. We're discussing two-a-days. We did the Cincinnati Bengals last hour. Talked about the world of sports in the first hour. You can go back and find that on the podcast, on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now we're talking about the New Orleans Saints. We talked about the offense in the first half of the hour. I'm really fond of what New Orleans has done. Then we get to the defense. And I'm not going to lie, I don't really know what to do with this defense. They have players. I like Davin Godchaux. They drafted Kristen Miller. Tay asked me about Michael Heldman. I do like him. He's a very productive kid. Had a ton of sacks. But I don't know about physical limitations. I think those could be a problem. But then you do always get into that, which matters more, the body or the player.
That's right.
Because the player, there's a lot to like there. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to look like, but he is definitely an interesting UDFA that they added. My problem with New Orleans is I don't know where they're going to get consistent pass rush, and I'm not in love with the secondary. I like Kool-Aid McKinstry. They just added Martin Emerson, Quincy Riley, Jordan Howden. There are players on this team. I just don't know that you have enough to hold up to the fact that really the only pass rusher that I feel great about is Chase Young.
And is he past his prime?
Chase, I'll tell you a funny story about Chase Young. It feels like he's been in the league for 417 years.
Yeah.
He's 27 years old right now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I still remember evaluating him, which now feels like it was 22 years ago. That kid has had a nice second act with the Saints. I'm really glad they got that deal done because he fits. He fits really nicely there. And obviously, being a Commanders guy, I have a soft spot for Chase Young.
Yeah, of course. But I just wonder from his production, what's he expected to do? And that's why when I say past his prime, based on what he was drafted and the expectations, and has he lived up to those expectations from a production standpoint?
He did last year. The injuries really ravaged him.
Yeah.
I mean, he
And
got
those are
hurt in
unpredictable.
Washington.
You can't control those.
Well, I mean, in that first year in Washington, you thought this is going to be a dude. He had 7.5 sacks in 15 games. It looked really good. Then you kind of bounce around the league a little bit. He's in San Francisco, gets to New Orleans. He had 10 sacks last year. He has 15.5 in 2 years in New Orleans. That's half of what he's done. He's had 15.5 the last 2 years. The first 5 years combined, he had 16.5. So, I mean, I think he has clearly set himself up as I don't know that I would go premier, but premier is a very elite tier. I mean, because you're looking at Bosa and Myles Garrett, and Micah Parsons, and Aiden Hutchinson, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter. That's just 6 off the top of my head. Is that you're not in that tier. I think you're in the tier below that. But are you going to get enough from Carl Granderson? Are you going to get enough from Fidel Diggs, who I really liked a year ago? Do they have the pieces to be good enough defensively to not put that offense in a position where they're going to shoot out every week? That's what worries me. I don't ever want to see a young offense get into shootouts. Bad habits develop that way.
Well, and I think there's also a side of this as we talk so much about complementary football. And again, going back to the basics, you've got to have a quarterback, you've got to have a line to protect the quarterback, and you've got to have a defense, and especially at the line, that can get to the opposing quarterback. And my question would also then be, from an offensive standpoint, as you talked about not wanting to get into shootouts. So I think what can help the New Orleans defense is the offense this year. Can they stay on the field? Can they keep drives alive and keep the other team's offense off the field? Because I think that's going to be a big indicator of how successful New Orleans defense is how successful the offense can be.
I mean, and that's the thing, is a team that I think can run the way that New Orleans will be able to, because ETN is a big ad. That was one of those that I'm not going to lie to you, I remember when that broke. And we all just kind of looked around and went, I did not have that on my bingo card.
No, not even close. And as a Clemson guy, again, to your point, you can't break up Trevor Lawrence and Travis. I mean, that's a duo.
I definitely think that will lead to a step back from Trevor. I don't think it's going to lead one from Travis.
No, I think he's excited to be in Louisiana.
Oh, I would agree.
Yes.
Oh, I would agree. I mean, for him,
it's his roots. It's all of that.
No doubt. Because is he from New Orleans or is he from Louisiana?
Louisiana, yeah.
I love that fit. And I think being able to run and not depend on Alvin Kamara, who's had some, I mean, let's face it, he's lost a step.
Yeah.
Now he can be a complimentary back. You still got 2 young guys that I think have a little juice in Miller and Neal. That's going to help take some of the load off the defense. The question is, do you have players that are going to take that step? Are you going to see Brian Brise take that step? Is Kristen Miller going to carve out a real role for himself in year one? To do that, he's going to have to be better against the pass than he's been in the past. He was a run stuffer. That's what he does. Tyree Wilson that they took a shot on with the Raiders. I'm not going to lie. I fell for that one. Hook, line, and sinker. Tank couldn't see it. He couldn't see it at all. But does he get a second chance here? Anthony Jennings, that's down that depth chart. Chris Rumpf, that I liked when he came out. They've got bullets in the gun. The question is just how do all these things fit together?
Yeah, I do like Brian Breezy. Because, again, he's a Clemson guy.
Is it Breezy or Breeze?
Breezy.
Breezy. Okay. That's another one of those names. Pronunciation, people. Let's get on that one because I hear that one about 15 different ways. I think he's an interesting player. And with New Orleans, I didn't know exactly where to put this team. And then I went to the schedule. And the schedule told me a lot. These are their home games. So obviously you play the 3 in the division. They have Green Bay. That's not probably going to be fun. Their other home games are the Vikings, the Steelers, the Raiders, the Cardinals, and the Browns. That's a really good ability to get healthy. Because I'll be honest with you, I think they're better than every team I just said. Do you disagree with that on one of that?
I don't know if I necessarily disagree. I still just have question marks with the Saints. I know looks good on paper right now, but we know paper don't play. We'll see how it plays out. I do think, again, there's optimism. I do like Kellen Moore, and I do like the moves, at least hearing more as you've been dissecting them. Because, again, I would have to say with full transparency, New Orleans is not a team that I really look at quite a bit.
We have a lot of people, for whatever, I've never quite figured out exactly why this is, but we have a lot of people on our YouTube channel that love the Saints. And they're awesome people. They're so good to us. They ask questions, and they don't expect us to stop the flow of things, just answer them. That means a lot in this business because there are people that get very animated when you don't answer the question, like that, because it's not a podcast. It's a radio show. It's sculpted and things like that. So I have a sweet spot for the Saints. I admit that freely. I have a sweet spot for the Saints. I want them to be good. I want their fans that send messages to me on Twitter and comments on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. I want those people to get back to where they were in the Breeze, Sean Payton era.
Yeah.
And I do see a path that Kellen Moore and Tyler Shough is a version of that. I'm not comparing Tyler Shough to Drew Brees. I don't think he has to be that, to be really honest with you. Drew Brees is one of the 10 greatest quarterbacks, in my opinion, that's ever lived.
Yeah,
he's not in the top 10, he's in the top 15.
Yeah, it's hard to argue.
That's a fun discussion for another day. But you get to 10 and you're like, wow, I left a lot of people out. Tay said they do play the Browns in Paris, but it is a home game. I'll be honest with you. I think you could play the Cleveland Browns in the parking lot of Shedeur Sanders' house, and I would still take you to beat them. They also signed Xavier Harris, who's not on their official depth chart yet, but that was a high-level player that fell. This is going to sound weird when I say it. I actually think there's a possibility that Xavier Harris gets more snaps than Kristen Miller does. Xavier Harris was a really good player.
Okay.
It's
just not a name I'm familiar with.
He was that big defensive tackle from Ole Miss. 340. I mean, just giant. And he moves in a way that no one that size should move. I don't know exactly why he fell. I know I've been told some things that are a little unnerving. But it's all off the field. Don't know what this kid's going to do. Away from the confines of Ole Miss, they protected him. May have made some less than stellar decisions. What's going to happen when he gets to the NFL? I don't know. I'm not a moralist. B, I don't know these things. So I will hint at them, and that's as far as I go. I'm also the guy that said James Pierce Jr. was not a character red flag, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. I think he's another piece that could be productive on that defense. And see, that's the thing. If I'm the Saints, that's what I'm looking for. I just want to walk away from this year and go, you know what? There's basically 12 starters on defense. Of those 12, I feel really good about 7. If I can walk out of this year saying that, and the offense can hit the way that I think it will, you feel good going into next year if you're New Orleans. I also just listed off 5 games that I'm not going to lie to you, I don't see a way they lose. Especially if they get Minnesota early. There's a report out today from Pro Football Talk that Minnesota, it's going to be a real quarterback battle. If Kyler Murray can't beat out J.J. McCarthy, you have a really big problem.
Yes, big time problem.
By the way, J.J. McCarthy people, good to see you again. They hated me. And I've not been wrong for even 1 second. I had a 4th round grade on McCarthy. Just take a shot on the intangibles, but I do not see an NFL quarterback here.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
To be honest with you, I never understood how an NFL GM looked at J.J. McCarthy and went, that one, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, and I'm not just agreeing with you to agree with you. Trey Falco and I, we've said it before also.
That one broke my brain. There are just times that guys get drafted, and I don't there is no explanation for that. Bo Nix, I didn't love it, but I see how you got there. Michael Penix, I didn't love it, but I see how you got there. I didn't see how you got there with J.J. McCarthy. I mean, he was throwing 300 times a year. Oh, but look at these tight window throws. Did he, though? Was it? Was it? Or did he make them tight window because he was misplacing balls so brutally at times? He was accurate to a point. But, I mean, the biggest factor of him was his legs and his running game. That didn't translate. I think Minnesota will absolutely get housed by the Saints. I also think Minnesota could be picking in the top 3 next year, and nobody wants to talk about it. That team's not good. Then you get into so looking back at the Saints' schedule, I mean, I think those are some very obvious wins. The Raiders is an obvious win. So is the Cardinals. So is the Browns. If you don't see it in the Steelers, okay, I think the Vikings is an obvious win. They play at the Giants. Mm-hmm. That's a game I want early. I would want to see that team as early as humanly possible.
Of course.
You play the games in the division. Then you get to the road schedule. And the road schedule is significantly less fun.
Yeah.
At the Bucks. I obviously don't like that, but it's a division game. At the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
At the Bengals.
Yes.
At the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
At the Panthers.
Yes.
At the Ravens. That is horror awful.
Yes.
You better win some games in the division on the road because some of those are not winnable games.
No, Baltimore
and M&T is borderline unwinnable.
Yeah, that's not winnable. I don't think the Bears is winnable. I don't think the Lions is winnable. Bengals, probably not. Maybe
I would be surprised.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that would be tough.
See, this is where I have to be honest with Saint fans and go, after doing all of this, I have come to the conclusion that the New Orleans Saints are in about the same beautiful position that the New York Jets are. Your team's way better. I don't think that's even debatable. You look at that roster from 2 years ago to now, you're way better than that.
But is the schedule lining up in your favor?
I think it is because I think you're going to lose 12 games. I genuinely think the Saints could go 6-11 and be happy about it.
Yeah.
Because you're going into a draft. So we were talking about pass rushers. There are 3. There's 3 next year that are borderline can't miss.
Yeah, but how are Saints fans going to feel 6-11 back-to-back years?
That would be a question for them. I think so long as the offense is clicking on all cylinders. The last thing that you want to do, look, if you're going to compete for the division, and frankly, I hope you do. With that schedule, I don't see how you're going to do it because there are 100 different ways the schedule could lay out where you're playing 3 of those 5 just god-awful road games that I just said. You could play those in the same month.
Yes.
I mean, that's a way to go 0 for November or 0 for October.
Agreed.
I think if I'm New Orleans and I'm looking at Chase Young, who's still not even going to be 28 years old until April, I would rather have another developmental year. And I know how bad that it's just not fun to hear. But you tell me I can add Colin Simmons in a year or I can add Dylan Stewart in a year, and that's what's on the opposite side of Chase Young, and I give everybody on that offense a year to develop, a year to play where I'm not all that worried about wins and losses. And I don't want to go 2-15. but I also don't really want to go 8-9, finishes the 10 in the NFC. I don't want to miss out on all those players. And I know that's coming from the draft guy, and people often don't want to hear that, but it's where I'm at with New Orleans. I think this sets up perfectly. You know,
sets up perfectly to go 6-11 and get a high draft pick.
And I mean, just think about Dylan Stewart on the opposite side of Chase Young. How much different does that make you feel about this defense just a year from now? I mean, Dylan Stewart's not of this earth. And I
just don't know how many fans are that patient that would look at it and say, okay, yeah, I'm buying into the rebuild, so let's go have another 6-11 season. And that still doesn't even guarantee you can get a Dylan Stewart because it depends on other teams and how they play out and what their needs are.
That is the beauty of this draft. And Tay in the YouTube chat said, I think Shoug's too good not to win at least 8 games. You may be right. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you you're going to have a really bad record on the road.
Yeah, the road is going to be difficult.
Especially depending on how the schedule lays out. See, if
right.
I'm the Saints, what I'm looking for is I want one of those easier games early. So ideally, I'd love to get the Falcons early. I would love to get the Falcons week 1. Or I don't want to deal with the Raiders in the first couple of weeks because you're going to have a lot of outside influences there that I don't like. Get the Cardinals early. Get the Browns early.
Well, they had the Cardinals early last year and lost.
And I will say this team's significantly different from that.
That's right.
But I want a couple wins early.
You definitely need some confidence early.
I'll take my lumps. Because look, you line up against a Baltimore Raven team that, I've looked at their schedule. It's if you play them in week 6, there's a great possibility that team's 4-1.
Yeah. Well, look, last year, they is at Seattle, at Buffalo, at Chicago, at Los Angeles. That's a tough non-division schedule on the road right there. Last year. So it's back-to-back 2 years.
No
That's
doubt.
A tough position for them.
And I will say, the thing about New Orleans, and I love how Andreas Pinckney said it. He said it's year 2 of a 3-year rebuild. I'm good on record. I want the talent.
There you go.
I agree. I want to see you compete. I don't necessarily care about wins and losses. And I know that sounds weird to say, but he's right. It's year 2 of a year 3 rebuild.
That's called maturity.
And I'm not going to lie. I think you're further along than any of us expected you to be, and you've got a boatload of cash next offseason. Richmond Weaver, we greatly appreciate you.
Of course. Anytime. We got to do it again, brother.
For sure. Anytime. Door's always open, my friend. Check him out. iHeartRadio app, The Richmond Weaver Show, which will be starting here in 4 minutes because he's a warrior. I will be on tonight, 7, overtime, also on the iHeartRadio app and 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate. For Richmond Weaver, I'm Jeremy Green. We'll see you tomorrow at Dax and Cash, AEW Tag Team Champions. I might get put through a table tomorrow. I'm very excited. We'll see you tomorrow.
ESPN.
You're clear.
Thank you, bud.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Continuing with our shower chance, maybe even a thunderstorm as we get into the afternoon. I think as you go south, a little less of a chance of rain.
All right, this should take us right to the top of the hour.
So maybe a light jacket and sunny and pleasant for Tuesday afternoon. 75. By Wednesday, another chance of showers and afternoon thunderstorms, otherwise sun and clouds, upper 70s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Staging.
This report is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just